he didn't. Yes, he.
What about this one? This one okay?
Now you're about 8 feet underwater.
Okay, hold on.
Now you're on the cell phone.
All right, well, that's the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just like shuffle through them.
Yeah.
Each time.
That's the original one. That's the one I was originally on. And I think
that's which is bad because we tested and this is what you sounded like when we tested.
Right. I blame Steve Jobs, God rest his soul. He's up there laughing right now or down there laughing. I don't know. I don't make the judgment. Good morning.
Or around us laughing.
Yeah, I don't judge. Welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday, July 11th, 2024. Jason Ross, Carmichael Dave, Chris Verlod, as we take you all the way till 10 a.m. and we've got a fantastic show for you. We'll get to in just a second. But once again, the top story for the stuff that isn't sports is it's still hot and it's not going away. And I irrationally blame Jason Ross for this. I feel like he's enjoying it. He's in his pool every day like, ha, 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 ha. This is wonderful. I love this. Screw you, Dave. And I know that's not the case, Jason.
Actually, that is live audio of me yesterday in the pool going, ha, 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 ha. I love this. Screw you, Dave.
Well,
good night swim last night. Just a really good night swim.
You love night swimming.
I love night swimming. I still
Have you seen Night Swim?
Still haven't seen Night Swim. Not going to see Night Swim.
Is it a horror movie?
Of course it is. If Chris has seen it, it is.
I got a question, Jason. When you're night swimming, you always wearing trunks?
What are you suggesting about my mic flag? Always. I would say out of a 100%, 94% of the time.
Okay. But occasionally.
And when you say trunks, that could be just about anything. Nothing to maybe, there's been times where we've had, you've called me before, like out on a long walk and maybe a little sweaty. It's like, and I might have been wearing like, I don't know what I would just call regular shorts instead of something I would want to jump in the pool. So it's like down to the U wear and just jump in. I've done that before.
Yeah, that takes my kids off as it's pool talk with Dave and Jason. That takes my kids off. There's a lot of times, and this is how it works in my head. I'm like, well, what's the difference between me getting my undies wet or going up and changing into a bathing suit? So a lot of times I'll just go back there. Oh, I feel like going in the pool. I'll just strip down to the undies and go in.
I've done that.
And then they're like, dude, you wear a bathing suit. I'm like, shut up. There's like, I feel I feel like there's certain dad things that
you're just allowed to do.
You're allowed to do. Like, you know what? Yeah, I drink out of the carton. What do you want from me?
Yeah,
I did that.
It's my carton. I
What
bought it.
do? I bought it. That's why I say that to Avery all the time. This is my carton of milk. You are allowed to have some with permission and sometimes without permission, but it's mine. Let's see. Matthew on the chat. God, really? Are we doing this? Y'all hear Whitey's impersonation of Dave yesterday? What is this, Dave impersonation week?
Because the last one was so spot on.
Yeah, it was just absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
sounded like Gene Hackman in Deliverance or something. It was not me.
Microprocessors.
Is that like the?
Should you tell Dave? Dave has no idea about that.
I know.
What?
Jason
did something very bad yesterday,
and I didn't know it was bad. I had good intentions, and I think I literally made young Nate Littlefield's life, not even day.
Yes.
He became obsessed with something I told him, Dave, and Chris really blames me, and I thought it was just an innocent, offhanded comment that even Chris agreed with, but then Nate just ran with it out of control.
Well, what was it?
So 2 days ago, I was at home and The Departed came on. So I'm like, oh, I'm not a co-op. So I was watching the movie, and then there was a scene where Mark Wahlberg's in there, and it just hit me. There's like a certain angle he was in the movie. I go, whoa, Nate Littlefield looks like Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
Oh no.
So I told Nate, pulled up some Google images, and like
and to be fair, I was in there. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. He does look like Nate in that picture.
And then I think I told Nate, and then Styles and Watkins were in there like, oh my gosh, he does look like that. And then Nate went to work. Like he was
so excited.
He called his girlfriend. He did all this Photoshop pictures that he sent us. That was actually really amazing what he did. But he now thinks he's Mark Wahlberg from The Departed.
Okay. So as soon as you started telling that story, I had a scene from a movie come up that I honestly, this is how I visualize how it happened. Do you have any idea the scene I'm talking about? You
from
take
this movie?
No. From a movie we've all seen, a classic comedy. You may remember. This is how I imagine it happened. You may remember in Ferris Bueller's Day Off when Principal Rooney was laying down the law to Ferris Bueller, and his assistant lady came in and said, Ed, you sounded just like Clint Eastwood there. And he did like the little, like, really? And then he did like the little glare and the mustache.
He was feeling good about that.
I feel like that's what Nate was yesterday.
Genuine. I have never seen Nate as happy as I saw him yesterday after Jason told him.
I mean, he called his girlfriend. I'm like, I was just an offhanded comment. I've actually now sent you the these are actual pictures of Mark Wahlberg, but then Nate's already photoshopped them. By the way, how good is this Photoshop?
It's really good. This is funny. I'm scrolling through them, and you sent me two, but I didn't. Oh, now you sent three, and it's like I go Nate, and then it's the picture Chris sent me of George Kittle and his now wife in at Iowa. Like, that's not Nate. He photoshopped these. Oh my goodness.
So that's from the movie. Chris agreed. Everybody kind of agreed it looked like him, but that's obviously his face.
Then he's just like, oh, I've got a picture of me in one of my videos where I'm a cop. You got to see it. I'm going to look just like Mark Wahlberg. And it's like, dude, you look nothing like Mark Wahlberg here. He's like, no, it's the essence.
The essence of Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
You think he went home and got in front of the mirror and started thinking of Boogie Night?
Oh, 100%. Say hello to your mother for me. Yeah, so that was my bad. Innocent comment.
Now that you say he's going to end up like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights, or it just goes to his head. He starts doing albums.
Yes. He was calling the rest of us the Funky Bunch.
It's kind of funny how we forget that it used to be Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah. Where'd the Funky Bunch go?
They're hanging with the
News. Funky?
No, they're just the bunch now. Yeah. They're on tour with the News, the Pips, and the Revolution.
Yes.
It's a whole thing. Wow. Okay. Well, anything else exciting happened around there yesterday?
That was good. That was tops.
That was a major one.
All right. I have the whole
Oh,
family.
don't ever
inside.
compliment Nate on his looks.
Yeah.
No, that's never gonna. No, that's why are we complimenting Nate at all? He got hit by a Prius. That's how I know Nate. He got hit by a Prius, and he made the what's the movie he made? That's
Oh,
still up there.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Bubbles.
And he landed on Danny DeVito's star.
Nate's a one of a kind. I feel like Nate and Kyle should have their own show.
Oh, agreed.
I don't know about that.
With Emil.
Oh, oh, agreed. Yeah, Emil in the new movie Ionescus.
Yes, that's the Funky Bunch.
All right, quick question before we break. So I feel like I had my manhood attacked yesterday, and I'm probably being too sensitive, shockingly. So the families are up here. We got everybody except Avery, and so I've told you before that when we got this place, like the owners left the boat, right? It's like it's a ski boat, basically. It's an older ski boat. It's nothing to write home about. And last summer we took it out a few times, and I don't like it because I don't know what I'm doing, and I white knuckle it, and I kept crashing into other boats when I was trying to park it in the slip, and I just didn't like that. So it was way stressful. So I was trying to trade the boat for something for the last few months because I don't want it. And my buddy, the dad of the other family, so he has a fishing boat. So his thing was, well, okay, let me at least just take your boat out with everybody and run through it and make sure it works okay, blah blah, etc. So I did the show yesterday. Then I took a nap. While I was taking a nap, that's when Melissa and everybody got up here. I woke up and I had a note saying, "Hey, we're all out on the boat. When you want to come out, let me know." So it was around like 3-4 o'clock. I had some stuff to do, and they picked me up at the dock. And the first thing Melissa says, she's like, "We're not getting rid of the boat." I go, "Why not?" She goes, "It is awesome." And I go, "Well, hold on. We've taken it out like 4 times, and you said the boat sucked." And she goes, "Yeah, that's because you were driving it." And I get on the boat, and like the kids are like tubing and having a blast, and Mason's even talking about like wanting to get a wakeboard. And it's like the whole Griswold moment where the kids are smiling and laughing, and this dude's driving my boat like it's like a race boat, and I didn't know it could do. Apparently it's a lot more fun tubing when he's driving really fast and twisting around and they're going over like little waves and stuff. Whereas when I took my kids out tubing, I think we were going like 5 miles an hour in a straight line. So I feel, yeah, right. And they kind of had fun, but this was like, I posted a video on Twitter. Like we threw Melissa and Mason off the tube. They were on together, but now I feel like, oh, like the other dad, he didn't mean to, but kind of got shown up a little bit. And I feel one of those like less of a man things because I didn't really know how to drive my own boat.
I don't think you should feel less as a man. I just think you should feel less as a father.
Yeah.
That's worse.
And Chris is enjoying that very much. Very much. Dave, you could probably hear him laughing from there.
I actually, what's really crappy about that is that when he said, I don't think you should feel less of a man. Why at all did I think in my head, oh, wow, he's going to make me feel better? Why did I think that?
Sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
It just,
He was proud of that one.
You set the trap and I walked right into it.
Yeah.
And now I'm out of summer league with a bruised ego. I am now on the IL. All right. Well, I'll wear that all day. We'll take a break right now on that note. Thank you very much. We got a fun show for you guys. We really do. And I know I say that often. Well, sometimes I say we don't, but we do have a good show today. Sam Amick. Oh, I'm Sam. I'm on vacation. Sam's on vacation for 2 weeks. Although, did I tell you there's actually an outside chance we're going to meet? Sam's in Europe for the Olympics.
Oh, that's right.
And there's actually a chance we're going to meet up with each other at the Olympics. We talked about it, and there's a day that works for both of us. So depending on the time of day, if it's between 2 and 6 p.m. over there, we may do a double check-in.
I think you guys should do the events, compete against one another.
But just Sam and I throwing the javelin.
Uh-huh.
Can I get one specially made for my throwing motion?
Yes, Lamar.
First business with Kelly Brothers at 7:30. He is
good at business.
Yes, he is. Mark Deeks is he's an NBA scout writer. He's going to come on and talk to us a little bit about Sasha Vezenkov and what the hell happened there. Anthony Slater will be stepping in for Sam Amick, also of The Athletic, and covers the Kings. He'll be on in Sam's normal time at 8 a.m. Last thing, guys, Mark Deeks. Why am I thinking, was Mark Deeks the bad guy in Trading Places with the briefcase?
Oh, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Wasn't
wait
that
a
his
minute.
name? Wasn't the guy's name with the hat?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he ended up in the gorilla suit at the
yeah,
end.
he ended up with the other gorilla.
He ended up the love interest of the other gorilla. Why do I feel like his name was Deeks? Anyways, that's super random. Jason will research that during the break. When we come back, leading off is next.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right out of the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at kiavacaville.com.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Hey, Dave, before cut number 1, Clarence Beeks.
Clarence Beeks, Beeks. And yeah, thanks to Ryan who was on that as well. Okay, so it's not Mark Deeks, it's Clarence Beeks.
Close. Yeah.
Well, I want to see him a beak.
I want to see your Keon Ellis.
Bad turnover. Colby Jones to Keon to cut it to 1. Got it! Keon Ellis, a 30 ball here at Chase Center.
Okay, so I don't know how to feel about this. I want to be really excited about Keon Ellis dropping 30, but also it's Summer League. But I'm also really excited that he's playing, but also it's Summer League. So how do I guess it's better than him not scoring 30, but then if Keon Ellis has 12 points in the next game, well, no, what I'm saying is, look, I'm super happy and excited. I just don't know how excited should I be about Keon Ellis dropping 30 in Summer League.
I'll give you just the easiest way to compartmentalize this. Did you see that dunk Marvin Bagley had in the California Classic?
That's very, very true.
On Mo Wagner? I mean, come on, Luka. What a terrible pick the Mavs got.
The Mavs. Yeah, well, we've got our Summer League roster as they trend. The California Classic is once again in the books, and we did our part. It was definitely a success. We did our part. Nobody else did their part. So just keep it in Sacramento, please.
Because you know what? They're not like us.
They're not anything like us, Jason. Yeah. No, just like the song. The complete roster. Adonis Arms, maybe the best name in the entire Summer League. Keenan Blackshear is not a bad name whatsoever. Ahmad Caver, still great name. Isaiah Crawford, they say he was the best undrafted player of the draft. Antoine Davis, Boogie Ellis, Keon Ellis, no relation. Dane Goodwin, Colby Jones, Isaac Jones, no relation. And Joe Lual Aquil Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Xavier Sneed. Christ. And Drew Timmy.
Hmm.
Really?
Wait, did you
Timmy.
not? Is Mason Jones not there anymore?
Did I not see Mason Jones?
I know he's a two-way guy anyway.
Oh,
Because
Colby
I wanted.
Jones,
Oh yeah, because I wanted them to do the Jones, Ellis lineup.
Ooh, that would be good.
Mason, Colby, Isaac, and then Boogie and Keon. It's just like Jones, Ellis, get out there.
Is Boogie Ellis already the second best Sacramento King Boogie?
Yeah, and maybe the second Boogie, right?
I think he is the second Boogie. Also, did any of you see that my favorite, the best thing I saw yesterday? Did any of you see former President Barack Obama accidentally reenacting the Key and Peele skit yesterday?
No, I didn't see that part.
Do you think that was an accident?
I hope it wasn't, but
I think he's leaning into it.
You think he is?
Because
so
I definitely know that he's aware of it.
No, for sure. Well, he did a thing with, didn't he do a thing with one of them where the anger management or the anger translator?
Yes.
Yeah. So he knows them. He was going down the line greeting some U.S. Olympic people, players, coaches, whatever. So there's an old skit Key and Peele did where like Obama would, or the guy playing Obama, he would go up to somebody of color and they do like a 12-step handshake hug. And then he'd get to a white guy and give him, nice to meet you, give him like a straight up handshake. And then alternate if he got to a person of color, handshake, hug, 5-step, whatever. And then gets the white guys like, very good to meet you. And I'm telling you, if you watch the video from yesterday, Chris, now that I'm talking about it again, you are cynical, but sometimes it pays off. Maybe he was, but he didn't even know he was being filmed. Well, I guess he's always being filmed.
Yeah.
He knows that. Yeah. It was pretty good. Anyways,
It was good.
If you get a chance, watch it. So the Summer League team is unveiled, and we're off to the races now. We'll talk about that a little bit today, Jason. We'll talk about who's on there, who's not on there, unfortunately, and what we're most excited about. And it's not Drew Timmy. He's going to make this team. He's 100%. Drew Timmy is 100% making the team, isn't he?
And hitting game-winning shots.
They need front court help. He's
There you
young. He was basically Zach Edey before Zach Edey, as far as just an amazing college player. Zach Edey now the favorite to be rookie of the year. Did Drew Timmy even play last year in the NBA?
No, I don't
feel
believe
like
so.
No, you didn't have a cup of coffee with. All right. Anyways, whatever. We'll talk about that a little bit later. In the meantime, cut number 2, please.
Cut number 2.
I think I said a few years ago, collective bargaining agreement, new media deals, then we would turn to expansion. So we got part 1 done clearly. And thank you to the Players Association. We're very happy. I think both sides are with our new collective bargaining agreement. Media deals, it's been a long process. It's ongoing, and we hope to wrap it up, in the relative near term. And then we will turn to expansion. But by turning to expansion, it doesn't mean that we're going to announce that now we're ready to add teams. It means that there'll be a committee of NBA governors that will focus on it. There's clearly markets out there that are very interested, and we'll run through a process. But
Well, 2 parts are done now.
2 parts are done now. And as we've been saying for a long time, and many people have, congratulations. And I know they're not celebrating until it's official, but looks like all signs point to Seattle and Las Vegas joining the NBA in the next few years. And
Did you say
hope I have.
goal?
You know what? I would actually. I would, but first and goal on like the inch line.
Whoa.
Let me tell you something. The whole Woj thing you're referring to, that the Kings leaving for Seattle was first and goal. Maybe he meant like, like a few times a year, it'll be like first and goal on the 35.
Yes.
Because of penalties.
Yeah, I would say it was first and goal from the other one.
Right.
He's going to go 99 yards.
I wonder what the record is. Somebody's got to have that. There's got to be a record for first and goal. Like, has it ever been first and goal on the opponent's 48?
Yeah, I don't think so, but there's been some out there like you're right, like at the 30 or 40.
This is first and goal on like the 1-inch line. I mean, it's all lined up, and the strong rumor is that LeBron James will be part of the ownership group for the Vegas team once he retires. Seattle obviously has all their ducks in a row and has had their ducks in a row. Now it's amazing to think how close they were, and here we are 12 years, 11 years later, they still don't have basketball. That also means that we're almost certainly going to have a conference realignment, which is probably a little bit overdue there, with both Seattle and Vegas being in the West. $76 billion. Now you can add another $10 billion to that for these expansion fees. That's $86 billion just from these agreements and the expansion fees that are coming to these guys over the next 11 years. $86 billion divided by 30 teams. It's a really good time to be an NBA owner right now, Jason.
For sure. Vivek and his crew timed that beautifully, didn't they?
They really did, which is why, like we said, when Mark Cuban sold a large portion of his shares within the last year, again, did not understand that. Can't imagine anybody wanting to sell. Now, if you want to sell, a year from now, I totally get that. Cash out, you got all your income, but there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about when it comes to these media rights deals, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit with Kelly. But there's also, number one, going to be a bit of a change in the amount of viewing and our viewing habit. And secondly, I think this might be the last time we have a media deal like this, Jason. I'll get into more detail later, but I'll just say this. I don't know that in the future, I don't know that our kids, when they're our age, are just going to be able to turn on a channel and watch a game. I think we're getting ready for a transfer in how people watch this stuff. We'll get to that a little bit later. No time for cut number 3. We're late anyways. The soccer coach for the men's national team, Greg Berhalter, was fired. We'll talk to our soccer expert, Chris, a lot about that a little bit later with the World Cup in a couple of years coming to America and the state of United States soccer. And Russell can get in the chat and freak out about how wrong we are. We'll take a break when we come back. The Kings Summer League roster and why do you care, or do you care, with that coming up over the next couple of weeks. We'll get to that right after this.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kyle Draper. Equip your staff with top-notch uniforms, professionally cleaned and delivered weekly to your workplace by Alsco Uniforms, proud sponsors of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. Our services include uniforms, towels, floor mats, mops, first aid supplies, and restroom essentials to uphold cleanliness and safety standards in your business. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco uniforms. Visit alsco.com to learn more. Again, visit alsco.com.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. And we will get into the night. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
Hey, Sacktown sports fans, get ready for an unforgettable summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar, packed with the hottest shows around. Starting at Thunder Valley Resort, don't miss the epic Slash and Serpent Tour on July 12th. Then on July 20th, enjoy the incredible Miranda Lambert live in concert. And on August 9th, Jason Mraz and the Super Band are set to deliver an unforgettable performance. And don't miss this Live Nation lineup. On August 4th, experience the legendary Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. Then on August 15th, catch the iconic Donny Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And on August 22nd, don't miss Creed Fisher rocking the stage at Ace of Spades. Finally, on September 10th, the Doobie Brothers bring their timeless hits to the Toyota Amphitheater. For all your ticketing information, head over to livenation.com. These are the shows you won't want to miss, so grab your tickets now. And stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Well, let me clean up a few things this morning. You can log on to the YouTube and check us out. Get in the chat, hit the like, say hello. Following along the conversation, our dear friend and loyal listener, Campeo Silva, is attending a funeral later today, and our condolences go to him. A lot of people in the chat. I was following the chat along. He announced he had a funeral to attend, and his condolences from AB and Matthew. Camp said it was his father's golfing buddy and neighbor, who was a very good man. And Willie Bowen came in and said, my father's golfing buddy was singer Marvin Gaye. So there's that. It's interesting. There's two things I'm into right now. One I do every year. I'll get to in a second. If you have a chance and you want to go down a good rabbit hole, babies with Scottish accents is something I found yesterday.
That was incredible.
Did you see it?
Yes.
It's the best. We can't play it on the air because some of these babies have foul mouths, but like a baby got a teddy bear and they go, what'd you get for Christmas? And the baby's like, I got a teddy, but it's in a baby. Teddy. It's a baby accent. It's incredible, Jason. And also it is fair season. The state fairs are happening.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people don't like Darren Ravel. I enjoy a lot of his content when it comes. This is where Darren is the best, when he is finding this inane content that I love so much. I'm going to run down some foods at the Iowa State Fair, maybe the best state fair in the entire country. No joke. They have 84 new foods. I obviously won't read them all, but here's the top ones. Just both of you give me a would or would not try, okay? Bacon cheeseburger egg roll.
Would.
Yeah, I've made the cheeseburger egg rolls. They're phenomenal. Candied bacon. How do I say it? Is it gnocchi? Gnocchi? It's up like a pasta.
Yeah.
It's candied bacon, right?
Would.
Deep fried hot Cheetos pretzel.
Definitely.
Probably not.
That's definitely
It's too spicy.
Garlic ranch pickle pizza.
Lost me at pickle.
I'd try it.
Not a fan of the pickle, Jason?
I mean, would I try it? I would try it if you bought it and said, hey, you should try this, but I wouldn't purchase it because I don't think I'd like it.
This reminded me of your yearly Tour Day chips.
Yes.
Deep fried bubble gum.
No.
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Here's the problem with deep fried bubble gum. In order for it to be deep fried, it has to have a breading by definition. So when you chew it, the idea is, oh, look at this soft, warm bubble gum. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have all the breading pieces in the bubble gum while you're chewing it, and that's disgusting.
I think it would be similar. I could be wrong, but Dave, I'm sure this happened. Similar to a what's the bubblegum lollipop?
A blow pop.
Blow pop. So like you know, at some point you chew and you get the crunch of the candy, and then that over time kind of dissolves, and then you just got the gum.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Jason, because this is in my wheelhouse. Here's the difference. When you're doing a blow pop bubble gum, you have the crunchies in the bubble gum, but those dissolve in your saliva very easily. When you have any form of food in there, it just stays there, dude. It stays there. It just gets smaller crumbs. But like, I can't even, if I have bubble gum in my mouth and there's even a tiny piece of food left over from something in a molar and it dislodges it, and now I have gum with some sort of food in it, that is disgusting to me. And the bubble gum's dead. I can't do it anyway.
Well, I'll try it. You guys will look at me and go, wow, what am I missing?
The cheese stands alone. Cookies and cream ice cream nachos.
Yes, but what is that?
Yeah, what did they use instead of the chip?
That's the proper question and I imagine now I don't know what it is, but Chris, if it was a form of like lightly, if basically what they did was like lightly fried flour, air quotes, chips that were like churro style,
Like
if you
put
get my
cinnamon on it. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but maybe it's not even cinnamon. Maybe they do like chocolate powder on it or something.
I'm looking at a picture. It's, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it looks like the chips are like the ice cream cone.
No,
like waffle.
Think about that.
It could be waffles, could be whatever, sugar cone, plain cone. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's a great idea. I would pound that. Tequila funnel cake.
What kind of funnel cake?
Tequila.
Oh, yeah.
Tequila?
Tequila.
Okay.
the best karaoke song ever. Yeah, okay. And finally, at the Minnesota State Fair, gentlemen, deep fried ranch dressing.
I did see that the other day. I'd try it.
I don't even know. And it shows a picture of like a deep fried triangle looking thing, and they broke one open and ranch dressing is popping out. Now, I don't know how the hell they get the ranch dressing to hold up in there. But I will say this, while it sounds disgusting on the surface, if there is the proper ratio of breading material to ranch dressing, I actually think it would be like eating a mozzarella stick dipped in ranch without the mozzarella, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but I don't think it'd be disgusting.
It might actually be good on literally on a salad, right? Because sometimes if you have ranch, then with what, like some sort of crouton or something, I don't know, there's some similarities there that if it kind of breaks up a little bit into the rest of the salad, might be good.
You ever make your own croutons? I love making croutons, man. It's super simple. You just like chunk a piece of the bread, not the crust, out and put it in the oven with like toss it in some salt, pepper, and olive oil, and just put it in the oven at like 350 till it's crunchy. Oh man, you don't ever buy croutons. Just grab old bread and make croutons. Never throw out older bread unless it's moldy. Use it for croutons and French toast. Anyways, that's your food tip for the day. Summer League, as we get back on track here. ADD's running strong today, guys, by the way. We talked about who's on it. So what are you most excited about? Because Devin Carter's not going to be there. What are you most excited to see in Summer League?
Yeah, we had a couple people when you were talking about earlier, Keon Ellis scoring 30 last night. Yeah, it's Summer League. But I mean, to me, Keon Ellis is going to be a part of this team. He showed us what he could do a little bit last year. And I think we all believe he's there primarily as a defender. And even if this is a Summer League group, I want to see him have big scoring games because he should be one of the best players on the floor. And so if he's going to get some run out there, I want to see him. I want to see him get buckets because that's the area of the game that I won't say I wonder if he can do because he's shown he can, but I think that's the area he needs to keep getting better at. And if he does, then he's just going to help this team.
I agree with you. I'm incredibly excited to see Keon, and I don't want to get too excited because it is summer league, but the fact that he was an NBA starter at times last year and is being talked about as a defensive, first or second team candidate, like the development of Keon Ellis last year was one of the best stories of the season. And the fact that he's playing in summer league, I love that because he doesn't need to. His place on the team is secure. His spot in the rotation is secure. He's just trying to get better, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, in the ways to get better, right? Free agency, draft, trades, player development. And player development, a lot of times we talk about, hey, jumps from guys like, Keegan Murray, or when De'Aaron Fox, took another jump and has become at that all-star level, Sabonis, and so on and so forth. But this is the true success story to me, Dave, a guy that you just kind of bring in, second round, free agent, that kind of thing. Those kind of players are the success stories that you could bring in, get on a two-way that eventually becomes a guy that you have on your roster, and then starts. I mean, he was starting the play-in games and being in meaningful spots, and I don't know where his role will be this year, but he's definitely going to be in the rotation, and those are the kind of stories, and on such a favorable deal. Those are wins for the organization.
I'll tell you one other thing I'm excited about when it comes to Kings specifically, and coming up at 3 for Madness, we'll ask you overall, what are you most excited about in Summer League? And that could be from any team. All jokes aside, I am a little excited about Drew Timme. I am. And the reason I'm excited about it is certainly not the garbage that's going to happen on social media if he makes the team and the whole bit we have going there. But if you watch college basketball, there's always a Drew Timme or a Tim Tebow or a Luka Garza or a Tyler Hansborough. And I know I'm kind of switching sports, but in college sports, there's always a guy every year that is phenomenal, and it doesn't transfer to the NBA or NFL. And I've always rooted for those guys. I want them to transfer over. I want them to do well. So here's a guy that was tremendous at Gonzaga. He was a 4-year player. Every year, massive improvements. It was a wonderful run for Gonzaga. And in his final year there, his senior year, he averaged 21 points and 7.5 boards. He's not a shot blocker. He's 6'10", but he's a guy that's crafty in the paint. Now, the Kings have a need on their front line, and I know they have Alex Len as their backup, and I know that Drew Timme's not, I don't know. I think Drew Timme's never going to be a starter in the NBA necessarily, but it just so happens we need front court help. It just so happens he's one of those guys I always root for. And so the fact that it's the Kings, I think that'd be a really cool story, and also could kind of fit a little bit of a need.
Yeah, I mean, we've addressed that when we're talking about the big roster. What else? Yeah. What areas were help needed? Yeah, I'd say 4 or 5, maybe 3, but certainly size is, I would say, lacking overall on this team. So he's got a shot.
That being said, I think one of the prerequisites, if he does make the team, is, and this is where Monty and I could kind of make up, is he's got to shave his head or beard, or there's got to something appearance wise has to happen for him.
No, weekly show in studio with us.
We'll take a break. Look, when we come back, safe or out, we've got the home run derby all set, including at least one new addition, not the band, the home run derby. We'll also talk about home run derbies of yesteryear. So we've got a good question for you there and more. We'll get to that in just a second, but I would be remiss, guys, if I went to break without mentioning to you that Hoblet's got the Make This the Summer sales event going on right now. And if you need a car, like I told you yesterday, under 20 grand, Hoblet has it. $15,500 off MSRP on select 2024 Rams, 1,500 Bighorn, and Laramie Hemi 4x4s with no payments for 90 days. There's over 400 Rams available. You can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Chrysler hybrids, all the trim levels there. With 82 miles per gallon. That's electric, by the way. Remember that. So, hey, good for the environment, good for your pocketbook. Hoblet's different. as I've always told you, from the big city or the auto mall dealers, but it's Woodland. It's 5 minutes from the airport. It's not like you're going out to the boonies there. There's no dealer markups. There's no add-ons. There's no surprise fees. And when you're spending the kind of money you spend on a car, you want to buy it from the right place. You want to know that when you leave the lot with that car, that your relationship isn't over. And then they're going to be there for you down the road should you need anything else. That's why they are the #1 Ram truck dealer in California, #7 in the whole U.S. of A. So search, select, and save at HoblettDodge.com. No hassle, no pressure, ever dealership. Get up there today and you tell me good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you. We'll take a break. When we come back, Safe or Out Home Run Derby edition right after this.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SackdownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, I love you just the way Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach. Kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
The weather is hot, and so are the deals this month at Premier Pools and Spa's Sizzlin' Summer Sale. If you've been anguishing in the searing Sacramento sun, we're here to help with scorching savings on new pools and pool remodels. After 35 years as the region's top builder, Premier Pools and Spas has the hard-won knowledge and expertise you need to seize your summer. But act fast before these deals melt away on July 20th. It's the Sizzlin' Summer Sale, only at Premier Pools and Spas. CSLB number 589234.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here to remind you that the famous Bay Area pizza company Amici's East Coast Pizzeria now has a location in Sacramento offering takeout and delivery to the greater Sacramento area. You can check out their menu and order online at amicis.com and click on the Sacramento location. And as a special deal all this week, order any large pizza and get a second pizza of equal or lesser value for half the price. Use code half off at checkout. So when you want a great deal on pizzas this week, use promo code half off at amicis.com and Amici's delivers.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, before we get to Safer Out, just want to remind you the schedule today. 3 for Madness coming up at 7:13. Next, we'll talk about the NBA rights deals and what that's going to mean for your viewing. Kelly Brothers will join us. We'll talk sports business, probably including those rights deals at 7:30.
Good at business.
Anthony Slater in for Sam Amick from The Athletic. He will join us at 8. And at 9, Mark Deeks, NBA scout, writer. He will join us and we'll get the lowdown on all this Sasha Vezenkov stuff, and we can kind of hopefully close the chapter on that one. In the meantime, it's Christopher Ladd. It's baseball. It's safer out. Question 1.
Pete Alonso is back in the home run derby. He has won twice and officially has the most career home runs in the derby. Safer out. Alonso is the best derby participant of all time.
I mean, he's got the most home runs, so by rule he is. I don't know. It just depends on your definition. Like for me, Josh Hamilton is the best derby participant of all time when it comes to single performance. And the next question we're going to talk about your favorites. But yeah, I guess you could say Alonso, taking that lead. He becomes the the king of the home run derbies. But Jason, I will remind you, this is before our times, but I want to go back to when they used to run home run derby in black and white. You'd have like and Willie Mays and Stan Musial, and they'd have a conversation with whoever the host was. Be like, so Stan, what tips do you have for the kids out there? Well, I got to say, drink your milk. And, they talk in that old timey voice.
Yeah.
But Pete Alonso's had he's had some fun, that's for sure.
And when they wouldn't hit a home run, the umpire would come and go, "You're out.
You're out."
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a very official way to tell them they didn't hit a home run. I mean, I guess by the metrics, but it doesn't feel like it, right? I feel like when I think home run derby, though he's very into it and he's done a great job, I just have other memories of other people first, and I would think of other people ahead of Pete Alonso, even though he has been a great home run hitter in the majors and certainly in the derby. I'd say out. I just don't think of him first.
Question 2, please.
Speaking of the derby, safer out. You have a favorite derby performance?
Mark McGwire in Boston. Josh Hamilton is right there.
Got to be Josh Hamilton just for the announcer.
I mean, seriously, that was because that was Berman doing back 900 times.
I was talking about Howard.
Home run derby.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
That we used to have a guy in our old night show who would call in. His name was Howard. And he wanted to be a play-by-play guy. And God bless him, he tried so hard. But if you've ever seen the Boom Goes the Dynamite clip, it was like that in play-by-play form. And we just had a blast with him. So we set him up, and we actually had him call. Did we have him come in studio and call?
Yeah, he was around because I'd seen him. Was he not an intern at all?
Yeah, he was an intern. I want to say like he did it. There was like some sort of website that allowed you to do play-by-play. And I want to say he did it that way.
The internet?
I kind of remember there being video of it. And like his voice would get distorted because he had a fan on right next to him.
I miss that a little. I do. I miss old Howard. We had a lot of fun with him. And most importantly, he was a good sport. Mark McGwire for me, because he was at the peak of the roids. He was just juiced up. Everybody was juiced up. And honestly, I said this earlier a couple weeks ago. I would like to see an aluminum bat home run derby, which is the closest we'll get to a juiced up derby again. But God, Mark McGwire hit some balls that still haven't come down yet.
Yeah, we referenced Hamilton. That's a good memory. Griffey with the hat backwards, that beautiful swing, hitting home runs. Judge won a few years ago. I was just a big fan of his. So there's a lot of good ones. I do like the home run derby. I think that's a nice event that they've tweaked a little bit over time, but in the end, I mean, we're just trying to see these guys hit the ball out of the stadium, right? I mean, and sometimes they do. So I don't think it really disappoints. Like sometimes the dunk contest is hit or miss. In this case, I feel like the home run derby is more times than not pretty good.
Is the home run derby the best part of All-Star Weekend to you?
Yeah, the game too. The game's good. No? Oh.
That's fine.
Okay.
Except when it ends in a tie.
That's awful.
Question 3.
Wander Franco has been put on the restricted list after charges were filed this week. Safer out, his career is over.
I'm going to say, safe but subject to review. Look, if he's cleared, that's not even a guarantee he comes back. Trevor Bauer, as I understand it, was, I don't want to say cleared, but was never convicted of anything, but baseball didn't want to touch it. And there was enough stuff out there to where owners have obviously, and this may end up being a big legal case, a collusion case at some point with Trevor Bauer. What Wander Franco is being accused of is heinous. And if he is convicted, I don't think he ever plays again. But if he's not convicted, still absolutely think there's a chance. Having a 23-year-old all-star, tremendous talent. And obviously, I'm more concerned with the alleged victim here, which we all should be. Just a sad story all around, Jason. I just don't know if he's convicted, how he comes back. I'm not convinced if he isn't convicted.
Yeah.
He's still convicted.
Yeah, I don't pretend to understand or want to necessarily understand how these things are, I don't even know the term, policed by those that are making decisions. Not the legal part, but those that are deciding whether or not to keep a player or add a player that has had a transgression like this. Because sometimes, Dave, I'm like, oh, that player, they'll never play. Like, or I think they'll be back. I remember when Ray Rice happened so many years ago. I go, oh, someone will pick him up. I mean, it just takes one. And no one did. Then you get a guy like Greg Hardy of the Cowboys. Oh gosh, or he wasn't with the Cowboys yet. I go, oh, he'll never play again. And then he did. I don't entirely understand, and I'm not trying to make light of anything that anybody's done, but I don't think there's a consistency. I think there could have been an argument. I brought it up to you, like, hey, if you're the Kings, would you even look at Bridges?
Miles Bridges,
would you even look? And some people are like, no. And then, I mean, Charlotte signed him again, and right or wrong, whatever, but they chose to. There could have been a case maybe that he wouldn't play again. So I don't know. I mean, my gut's telling me I don't think so, but I guess I wouldn't be shocked if he did.
It's a sad situation all around. We'll take a break. When we come back, don't forget we have Kelly Brothers coming up at 7:30, 3 for Madness as well. But top of the hour, the NBA rights deals have been reached. What's the money? What does it mean going forward? What does it mean for the NBA? Most importantly, what does it mean for your viewing in the future when it comes to your favorite basketball games? We'll do all that right after this.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Get ready for the Kia Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. This is your chance to make it a summer to remember with incredible deals on select 2024 Sportage and Sorrento vehicles. Kia Vacaville is offering an amazing 1.9% APR for up to 48 months for well-qualified buyers. Or you'll get $1,000 bonus cash on specialty tag 2024 Sportage and Sorrento models. It's the perfect time to upgrade your ride and start your summer adventures. Imagine cruising down the highway in your new Kia from Kia Vacaville, enjoying the advanced features and comfort of the Sportage or Sorrento. Whether you're planning a road trip or just driving around town, these vehicles are designed to elevate your experience. But don't wait too long. These unbeatable deals won't last forever. Your adventure starts now at Kia Vacaville, where every journey is an adventure. Visit them today and find the perfect vehicle for your summer plans. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento summertime heat is back. And of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
You're still on mute. You are still on mute, Dave.
Dave, I think you're muted.
Hi, I'm unmuted. No, you know what? You know what threw me is that the camera was on. Like Chris turned the camera on when I came back. Usually I do. So I just thought my mic was unmuted too. Anyways, you missed a great. I said a lot of insane. Like I actually know who the Kings are signing next, and I said it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. I'm a good lip reader.
And you explained how they can win a championship this season.
That's exactly right. Step for step. Also, want to remind you, Friday Fun and Games tomorrow. We'll have a fun Friday program. Also, Kelly Brothers Sports Business at 7:30. Anthony Slater.
Good at business.
He is good at business. NBA rights deals have been reached, and the NBA owners get richer. It's good to be in. It's good to own an NBA team. My goodness, I want one so badly. Please, Christmas. Anyone wants to get me something? Get me the Kings, would you? Just say, Vivek, you've got enough. Give it to Dave. Sign it over. It's fine. He'll be a good caretaker. I would even promise not to sign Ben Simmons if that's what it takes.
That's
I would
for sure. Trust that.
Good point. 11 years. The agreements. That is a record length. $76 billion. That's about $7 billion-ish a year. Player salaries will continue rising, obviously, for the foreseeable future because of the BRI, the basketball-related income part of the collective bargaining agreement. So they pretty much have a 50-50 split going there. So you're going to see a lot higher of a salary cap that will gradually move up. There's a board of governors meeting next week in Vegas during Summer League, which everything will get finalized. Now, games will continue to be aired on ESPN and ABC. And now some will be going to NBC and Amazon Prime TNT has 5 days to match one of the deals, and that 5-day clock begins once the league sends the finished contracts to TNT. So sounds like there still is a Hail Mary when it comes to TNT remaining part of the deal. ESPN and ABC will have the top package for the league, which includes the finals and one each of the conference final series. ABC has aired the final since 2003. They'll continue to air games Saturdays and Sundays when the NFL regular season ends. ESPN main nights, those will continue to be Wednesday with some Friday and Sunday games. With exclusivity of the finals, you get a big price increase. Disney, which owns ESPN and ABC, will pay $2.6 billion per year under the new contract compared to $1.4 billion. So that's almost double on the current deal. And of course, NBC is back in the fold now. Their deal is expected to be $2.5 billion a season. That means Round Ball Rock, or at least the updated version, which I'm nervous about, that returns. And those will be Sunday nights once the NFL season has ended. One would imagine the Sunday Night Football time slot there. It will also air games Tuesdays throughout the regular season. And a Monday night package of games will be exclusively streamed on Peacock. But wait, there's more. Prime Video would have games on Thursday nights when it's done carrying NFL games. Its other nights would be Friday and Saturday. And NBC, along with Amazon, will alternate who carries the other conference final. Yes, that's right. You're going to get a conference final on Amazon Prime at some point. $1.8 billion a year. Now, TNT is currently paying $1.4 billion per season. And when you consider the amounts of the three packages, that would make the Prime Video rights the ones it would likely try to match. And I agree with that assessment. I think TNT is absolutely going to try to match that Amazon deal and try to take it from underneath them. But as it stands right now, gentlemen, once the NFL season ends, Monday, you're going to get a game on Peacock. Tuesday, NBC. Wednesday, ESPN. Thursday, Amazon. Friday, either ESPN or Amazon. Saturday, either ESPN or Amazon. Sunday, NBC or ESPN. Yep, that's 7 days a week, gentlemen. You're going to have national NBA coverage. And by the way, that doesn't include NBA TV either.
Yeah, and what I don't know, I know in the past, and Kings fans will relate to this day, we didn't have a bunch of nationally televised games over the years, but a little bit more last year. And I believe if I have it right in the past, TNT would be exclusive. So in that case, let's say the Kings were at home playing the Warriors, TNT, that would be no Mark or Kyle and Katie. Like they would have the evening off. I don't know where the exclusivity is on this, or if it was an ABC national game, that was exclusive. But when ESPN was in town, you could have the ESPN broadcast and our local broadcast. So My question is on the exclusivity on this, because I can already hear people, which I think this deal is amazing, but does everybody have Peacock? Does everybody have Amazon Prime? So a lot of people do, but I could see this sometimes having its impact on sports fans.
Also, does that devalue the NBA League Pass?
Right, that we already know it's been hurting for a while. We've talked about this with Kelly before over the past, but even the regional networks like the NBC Sports Bay Area or in other markets, how much they've been hurting a little bit? How much does a deal like this hurt them as well?
And that's where we get to my thought on this. I think this may be the last TV rights deal where we have local broadcasts. I think local broadcasts are going away, and I think they're going away when you look at the RSNs for Major League Baseball and what's going on there. You've got it is income for the local teams. For example, I don't know what the exact amount is, but I want to say I think Comcast, their deal, NBC Sports California, their deal with the Kings is like $28 million. I'm probably way wrong on that, but that's the number that's in my head. But and the teams themselves, they get their piece of the pie from the national broadcast deals, but they also get whatever they can negotiate. It's just a separate revenue stream. But it just seems to me with the amount of national entities that want a piece of the live sports pie. There's just too much money going around. I think at some point the NBA and the NBA franchises go, why are we doing this? Why are we having separate broadcasts, which in effect devalue the product on a national scale? Why would we not just bring it all in-house? And I think if you're looking for a model, because I imagine people listening right now are going, well, wait a minute, that what you do away with local broadcasts, you can't do that. Well, yeah, you can. The NFL's done it for years. And I know the NFL is a 17-game schedule,
right,
plus playoffs, whereas the NBA is an 82-game schedule. But that just means you've got 55 more games that you can create revenue from, not devalue. And ultimately, I think, create a subscription package where one day we're going to look back and say, remember when you could get NBA games on regular TV for free? Well, we're already, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was going to say the interesting model on that too, I was just going to follow up on, is that was like common here, right? Where even there was a time when the Kings were great in the early 2000s, where, what was it, on ABC 10 here locally? But not all the games, maybe 40 to 50. And then there were some national, so not every game was on. Then it became where a lot of them were, and now of course we got the regional sports here with the NBC Sports Bay Area. But Dave, or NBC Sports California. Now I think it's Utah and Phoenix, and there might be another NBA team that switched up their model, and they're thinking they don't have the rights fees for like the regional sports network. They kind of avoided that, but they did go back to local TV. So their theory behind that with Utah and Phoenix, the Suns and the Jazz, was we're going to have more people getting access to this. So how does that help us sell jerseys, sell revenue, get awareness, sell commercials, whatever? They don't get the big fee for the rights, but they also get kind of that more local feel and more people watching. So they kind of flipped back to the older model.
Which is, it's one of those things where you'd have to have an infrastructure. You'd have to bring your announcers in-house. They'd have to rotate. There's a whole infrastructure that would have to be created there. But where I see the real opportunity here from a business standpoint, by the way, I'm not trying to push this as great for fans, but you could argue that rather than having to buy 17 different subscriptions, that you would then have an opportunity under perhaps an NBA TV model, subscription model, where you could subscribe for your, for example, for Kings fans, if they said you can get every single Kings game for $50 a year, right? There'd be quite a few people that would spend $50 a year and would rather do that than have all these other subscriptions. On top of that, if you're saying, well, what about all the local ad revenue that comes in? What about the sponsorships? Just look at the idea that because something's on pay TV or pay-per-view and you don't bring in sponsorships is dead. Watch a UFC. There's movie trailers. There's all kinds of advertising during a UFC, not to mention the product placement on the mat, the live reads by the announcers that are constant. And it's a different model with the NBA than, say, fights, where you have constant breaks in between rounds and in between fights themselves. But there are ways to fit in that advertising, including but not limited to the L-shaped advertising that they do, for example, during soccer, where it's a continuous 45-minute plus clock twice. They don't have commercial breaks in soccer except at halftime. So they're doing a ton of in-action advertising. Golf Channel, you see that in the playing through section where they're doing a lot of that. So I think we're in the middle of a TV renaissance. Much like once upon a time, Jason, you mentioned the 2002 teams, where you would see sports bars packed with people for road games, because those were satellite games is what we called them. And the sports bars would have the deal. You'd go in, you'd watch and I loved that, man. It was like, it was the second best thing to watching it at the actual arena. So we'll talk about that with Kelly Brothers a little bit, but I think it's really interesting in how we consume sports and where that's going down the road.
Yeah, it's constantly changing, right? And well, and if you're a fan, you adapt, right? Like all these things, like, okay, better get Peacock, better get Amazon if that's the sport or your team you love. So yeah, you have to keep adapting.
We'll take a break. When we return, 3 for Madness. Let's talk about that a little bit, these NBA rights deals. Also, a little bit of an Olympic controversy that popped up after we got off the air yesterday. And then we'll go back to Summer League. And overall, not Kings, but overall, what are you looking forward to most from Summer League? We'll take a break. We'll come back in just 1 minute and talk about that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All righty, always and ever forward. Kelly Brothers, Sport and Business, coming up in just 14 minutes. Anthony Slater taking Sam's place for The Athletic, covering Kings. He will join us at the top of the hour. In the meantime, it's Chris Verlot, 3 for Madness. Question 1.
With the NBA reaching their rights deal, will this be the last time regular season games are available for free?
11 years is a long time in this ever-developing world of consumption. And we have everything from multiple networks, multiple subscription, Peacock, Amazon, etc., which I don't think is sustainable. You can't. It's not the cost, Jason, I think, as much as it's, as you've described many times. I'm watching a game on Amazon. Well, now I'm stuck on Amazon, whereas on YouTube TV, I can flip during breaks. It's just annoying, and it's not a great user experience. So I don't think that's lasting long term. You also have stuff like VR, and you look at stuff like the MetaQuest, the Apple Vision Pro, which are really very much in their infancy, especially the Vision Pro. They're bulky. They make some people dizzy. They're not there yet, but in our lifetimes, we're going to have basically like regular glasses that take the place of these giant headsets, and you're going to be able to, with your hands, have okay, let me bring this game in. I've got this 6 games over here. I've got all these TVs, virtual TVs set up. You could use that as an augmented add-on, perhaps from a package, but ultimately, I do think we are going to do away with local feeds. I think it's all going to be brought in-house NBA style. And I also think, like, for example, we're a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings, and we love our relationship with them, and I hope it lasts forever. But I honestly think we're counting down the days. Eventually, the Kings, and I think most teams, are going to bring all their broadcasts in-house, whether local or whether national. So, yeah, if I had to bet, I'd say in 11 years when they're doing this again, I think everything's going to be subscription, including your air quote local broadcasts.
You're talking about teams bringing things in. Do you think they'll do it like, let's say, what's the big event? A national championship game. We've seen that where there's the game broadcast, Florida State's like Homer broadcast, like they'll have people that are kind of rooting for Florida State. The other one that's for Alabama. Then maybe like a fans only broadcast. Do you think they'll do that even internally with teams? It's like, hey, we've got our Homer announcers. We've got the other, like I could just picture, are we going to get more and more multiple casts of things, you think?
I think if it's profitable, I think if there's a revenue stream there, and it's not hard to create a revenue stream. If you did have a Homer/Manning cast broadcast, let's say for the Kings, that augmented the national broadcast, and you were able through advertising and product placement and or subscription to do that, yeah, I do. But I also think we're headed at some point for a time where, Jason, you love Modern Family, right? So yes. whatever your service is, you don't subscribe to anything. it's just pay to play. So, for example, if you watch an episode of Modern Family, I don't know what the number would be. That's 50 cents. If you watch a movie, that's $1. If you watch a ball game, that's $2. Everything you watch, it's just a running total per month, just like if you were going to a fast food place and getting a burger and fries. And maybe there'd be some free stuff, and maybe you could get a trial like, hey, check out this new show on NBC, watch free, and they're going to try to hook you into the show.
Sure.
But I think that's where we're ultimately headed is you're on a pay-to-play situation where you can watch anything anywhere. There's no such thing as a subscription channel anymore, whether it's Channel 3 or NBC National or HBO. It's when you watch it, there's a little gas pump tally going up, and you get the bill at the end of every month. I honestly think that's eventually where we'll be.
Yeah, and the fact that we can get almost all this too, still even close to our phones or on our phone is amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. Really is.
Question number 2, please.
Question 2.
Should Jaylen Brown have made the Olympic team?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he got loose on Twitter, but when Derek White was announced, you got the eye emoji. And then he said something like, Nike, is this what we're doing? And the insinuation there is that Nike has control over who's on the Olympic team. I didn't want to I'm not going to make time, and we're not going to play it, but Gilbert Arenas on his video cast yesterday had a response to De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento for that whole back and forth talking about, how ugly Sacramento is and And I watched it, and Gilbert said something in there that actually was quite interesting. And he was talking about, he was talking about, like, if you look at the top 10 players of all time, they're all big market players with one exception, and that's Tim Duncan. When you look at the top 50, probably 40 something of them spent the bulk of their time in a big market. And he got into a little bit about how small markets, they can't play at the same level. And one of the reasons financially, and one of the reasons, Jason, he started talking about shoe companies, and he dabbled in what we've said for years is one of the biggest secrets when it comes to how pay is paid in the NBA and many sports. And that's shoe companies have an insane amount of influence and will offer financial incentives for a player to sign with a certain market as opposed to another, which puts Sacramento, Memphis, Oklahoma City, San Antonio all at disadvantages because they're not on that bonus list. And this is a salary cap circumvention by rule, but it's just kind of looked at the other way. I think it's a little bit similar when Jaylen Brown yesterday alluded to Nike to the point where Grant Hill had to address it and said, hey, I was a Fila guy forever, LOL. You're the finals MVP. You're the second highest paid player in the NBA behind your teammate. You're that good. How is Jaylen Brown not on the Olympic team? I think is my comment. How is that even possible?
Yeah, and for him, in his defense, I mean, he's looking, and he likes Tatum. I believe he likes Tatum and Holiday and White. 3 of his teammates are on in the finals and conference finals MVP and the finals MVP, and an all-star and an all-NBA type guy is not on. How is he not supposed to feel a certain way? And he's already had to deal with, Dave, like, oh, Tatum's the best player in the Celtics. That's just a blanket statement people always throw out, and I think it's a debate. I honestly do, and not that it needs to split them up and divide and get them, have some animosity towards one another. They need one another. But I think it's too easily a statement, and we all agree that two-way, Brown is probably better. So if offense and defense are both factors, how is Brown not considered more? And then certainly he's got to feel like he's just not looked at the same way for whatever reason by Team USA. So I don't feel bad for him being slighted at all.
I think it would also be interesting, and maybe I'll take the time later today to do this. As far as I remember last I read, Jaylen Brown is a shoe free agent. He was an Adidas guy. I don't believe he has a shoe deal right now. I'd be very curious to roll through that Olympic team, guy for guy, and see what the shoe contracts are. Obviously, they're mostly going to be Nike because Nike dominates the market. But I wonder how many. Is it all of them? Is it all but 1 or 2? I think that adds some interesting context to that conversation. And whether or not you think Jaylen Brown should be on the Olympic team, I love it whenever somebody kicks that hornet's nest of shoe company control. Question number 3.
Question 3.
What are you looking forward to most from Summer League?
And we're talking beyond the Kings here. Generally it's always okay. Well, how are these rookies going to translate? Guys I watched in college or top picks. So you have guys like Rishache or Alex Sarr, who let's be honest, we didn't see play a lot, but went very high in the draft, along, obviously number 1 pick. Now we get an opportunity to see what the scout saw. So that's the overall. But Jason, honestly, I'm just going to give you what I think is the easy answer. I'm interested to see more of Zach Edey. He's a fascinating player. We talked about Drew Timme earlier, and Tyler Hansbrough and Luka Garza and all these players over the years that were tremendous in college that didn't translate. But this guy's 7'4", damn near 300 pounds. And also, this is a guy that pulled down a high double-double with 5 blocks in his debut. So it translates at least to Summer League. I'd really like to see if that continues throughout the league.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Vegas has grown and changed every year as far as the Summer League. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Last year, Dave, I got to say, being out there for Victor Wembanyama, it was just like, man, what is going on? It just felt like such a massive event, and he didn't disappoint. He played well out there. This year, there's not the same kind of buzz as far as overall players coming in. Now, they all may be good, but I feel like Zach Edey is one of the bigger names, and he went, 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
But I feel like you're right. I think that's the guy that I would say the masses just, they know, 1, and 2, kind of want to see. And so, yeah, I would agree with that. I think Edey's a name. I mean, Bronny will get listed as someone people want to see too, just because they know him. But I think Edey's the one that kind of will intrigue most people.
What's amazing too, in the last, we saw Chet Holmgren come in last year, but Victor Wembanyama, who is, some of the big part of the hype with him is not just his skill level, but also 7 foot 4 inches. And he's listed right now, although I'm sure he's a little higher because he's added on some weight. But according to Google, he's currently 7'4", 210 pounds.
Wow.
Zach Edey is 7'4", 300. They're the same exact height, but one guy's got him by about 90 pounds. Now, that's good and bad for Zach Edey when it comes to mobility, obviously, but to have 2 7'4" guys with some sort of skill level, and I'm not saying he's going to be Victor Wembanyama, of course he's not, but just to add that into the league along with the Chet Holmgrens of the world, and let's not even talk about the Karl Anthony Townses and these other 7-footers that are play like guards, or the fact that we should stop forgetting that Kevin Durant is 7 feet tall and nobody ever talks about that. The league really is in good hands, Jason.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good thing, right? And it just keeps getting better and better.
We'll take a break. When we come back, he's good at business. Kelly Brothers, we'll talk to him right after this.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? You've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of STP full synthetic oil with an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
And as a special deal all this week, order any large pizza and get a second pizza of equal or lesser value for half the price. Use code HALF-OFF at checkout. So when you want a great deal on pizzas this week, use promo code HALF-OFF at Amici's.com and Amici's delivers.
The weather is hot, and so are the deals this month at Premier Pools and Spa's Sizzlin' Summer Sale. If you've been anguishing in the searing Sacramento sun, we're here to help with scorching savings on new pools and pool remodels. After 35 years as the region's top builder, Premier Pools and Spas has the hard-won knowledge and expertise you need to seize your summer. But act fast before these deals melt away on July 20th. It's the Sizzlin' Summer Sale, only at Premier Pools and Spas. CSLB number 589234.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Joining us now on Sports Sense, certified financial planner Kelly Brothers. Kelly is an advisor with Cap Trust, one of the nation's largest registered investment advisors. Cap Trust counts among its clients numerous pro athletes and pro sports franchises, but most importantly serves many Northern Californians through comprehensive financial planning. Here's Kelly Brothers.
Kelly Brothers, he's good at business. He joins us each and every Thursday. How was vacation, Kelly?
It was fantastic. We didn't go far. We were up at the lake for a while, and but man, the lake feels good this year. I don't know what it is, but it usually early July it's still a little cold, but the Lake Tahoe is feeling like it's early August. Maybe it's all this heat we've got, but it is very comfortable, and it's great. Plus, it's awesome to see the lake and Tahoe Keys and all that full. You know what I mean? It'll just everything just looks healthy, which is not always the case up there, but it looks great.
Might have something to do with the fact that it's 197 degrees every day here. So.
No, it is, but it's a dry heat, just like Venus.
Kelly, you're back, and there's we knew this was coming, but the numbers are in, and the networks are, and the NBA is going to be doing quite well over the next 11 years. What did you make over the NBA rights deal kind of finally getting locked in?
Yeah, the only intrigue left is will Turner match Amazon? They have the right to match. I think they have about 3 or 4 days left to make that decision. But you're talking about 11-year agreements worth $76 billion with a B dollars, and this paves the way for NBC to be back in. They're back in. Amazon wants in, but Turner can match. What happens to Ernie Johnson and gang? That all might just go away after next year. It also paves the way for expansion in the NBA, which is a huge deal. I was reading some Seattle stuff this morning. They're ready for this to be signed and done. By the way, there's a League of Governors meeting in Vegas coinciding with the Summer League, I believe, next week, and this will probably be voted on then. But Seattle is ready to reclaim their spot in the NBA, so this clears the way for expansion. It also clears the way for during this contract, you're going to have the first $100 million a year players in the NBA, $100 million a year. So it does set up, the only question I think you'd have is, man, why'd you go out 11 years? Mm-hmm. If the value is going up that much each year, why wouldn't you keep it to the 6-7 years you used to do prior? But they wanted stability, and I think they wanted to set the stage for expansion as well, and allow some of these networks to actually really invest in their pre and post game shows and everything else. So it's you can go through all the the various lists of who gets what night. ESPN obviously remains top dog, and they get the finals. They get one of the conference finals. You got NBC gets a very nice package as well. They're gonna be doing Sunday night games after the NFL is over. Prime Video gets the in-season tournament, which I think did better than they thought they would. So, the other thing that's not in there, and Dave, maybe you know this, but sometimes when you watch games that are on national TV, sometimes you still get the local crew, and sometimes the local crew is out. And so I don't see any details on that. But obviously that's a big deal to these broadcasters, because if you've got a New York LA game, if you got a Knicks Laker game, and you can carve out the local broadcast, your numbers are going way up. In New York and LA. But
you could help me with that. Katie always corrects me. I know, isn't it the TNT games they don't have to work, or is it ESPN games?
It was TNT, and then if it was ABC nationally at that point too. So those were the two that had exclusivity. Otherwise, if it was ESPN, there was also the local broadcast. But to Kelly's point, I don't know how it's laid out with this new format yet.
And because they also can't. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, they also can't. They also can't completely gut the value in the local packages, which are very important as they're sold to fine radio and television outlets, or done in house as they are now.
So two things. One, to your question as to why they go so far out, why they go 11 years. I don't know if this is the answer, but I remember there's a conversation with a guy in NBA communications I had a couple years ago, and he brought up a really good point. He said, look, over the course of the next TV deal, you're going to have the first middle-aged generation of people that have had the internet their entire life. And you're also going to have a lot of the boomer generation dying off, or just, going out into the ether and not watching as much. And the tech savviness of your target viewer now is going to go through the roof. And one thing they're very worried about is the ability to control piracy. And that, whereas right now, I mean, we have people in the chat talking about how they just pirate every game. And if you're savvy enough, it's very easy to either get a jailbroken Fire Stick, or go to different sites on Reddit and find streams. And they're very worried, much like what happened in the music industry, Kelly, where once upon a time you had Tower Records and your regular establishments that would sell music. Then Napster came along, Pirate Bay, all the different ways to pirate that music. And that's what birthed Spotify and Apple Music and completely changed the music industry. His point was that the TV industry is bracing for this, and that at some point there's going to be a if you will, a not Apple for Apple, but a Spotify type environment for video and television that's going to completely remodel the industry. And they're trying to lock in right now as much money as possible to get them through that storm.
Yeah, and even, let's face it, if I look at the lineup of all the carriers now, if you have YouTube TV, you get all of them except for Amazon Prime. And if TNT outbids Amazon Prime, you get all of them, in one spot. So we're already close to that. I guess I can understand that, but it is a lot. I got to sit down one time with Russ Solomon. You mentioned Tower Records.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people don't realize, if you're not of a certain age, the Tower Records was it. It is where Elton John went every Sunday just to look through album covers and check it out. It was their address in London was #1 Piccadilly Circus. It was the address in London. They were in Tokyo. They were everywhere. And they were started out of a little pharmacy on Broadway. And I remember asking Russ before he passed, I said, hey, what did you think when you saw the first iPod come out?
Huh.
And he said, I didn't know what to think. I was scared to think. He said, I knew the world had changed as I knew it. And I didn't know, but within a few years, Tower was done. So the world can change rapidly, Dave. You're absolutely right. They're locking in 11 years here and a lot of money.
Yeah, and there's so much money going around, Kelly. Then you have teams that, like the franchise of all franchise, the Celtics. I know you were gone last week, but the sale of the Boston Celtics, that's going to just fetch so much money there. Interesting timing. Mark Cuban bounced out. Now we see Wick Grossbeck doing the same with the Celtics.
In our business, you're always talking about selling high. Talk about selling high. I mean, they haven't picked up the confetti from the streets in Boston, and the team is on the market and getting bids in excess of $5 billion. It's amazing, but I mean, but it's smart, you know, especially a lot of these guys have to do some significant estate planning if they want their fortunes to trickle down a few generations. And sometimes that's hard to do in these partnerships. And so, but still, I always find it interesting because they're willing to do it. I mean, Wick Grossbeck has a place in our world as owner of the Celtics that he will never have when he's just another rich guy. You know what I mean? So I find it interesting that they're willing to sell, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes. And it was a huge surprise, but man, and it also tells you again, you know, what a great investment it has been for Vivek and the other investors who bought the Kings. What was that number, Jason? Was it 513?
535.
535.
Yeah.
535. So 535. I mean, if the Celtics go for $5 billion, the Kings are worth at least 2.5, right?
Yeah.
They're worth 3. They'd sell for 3, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's just it. When you have a limited supply, who knows what the price is? But and then the other interest, I mean, and that's $5 billion. You know, I assume with this TV deal in mind as well. He's just selling at exactly the right time. I remember when John Kelly sold Channel 3, I couldn't believe he sold it because he loved being an owner of a station. But it turned out to be exactly the right time. Exactly. I mean, it was right. I mean, NBC was coming off an all-time record because it was a political year. It was an Olympic year. And he sold, and they couldn't get close to what he got for that package of stations today that he got 24 years ago. So there is a timing thing here.
Kelly Brothers joining us. Let's talk about that. You are knee deep in the financial world. So you said something that's interesting to me. You said he sold at the exact right time. So let me give you a scenario. Let's say Vivek Ranadive was going to sell the Kings tomorrow, and we just talked about how they bought him for $535 million. I'm sure he'd be able to sell it for $3 billion. That's 6x in about 11 years. Okay, 6 times his investment, 11 years. But let's say 11 years from now, the team is worth $6 billion. Now, if Vivek sells tomorrow, he made 6 times his money. If Vivek sold 11 years from now, he'd make even more. So which is the right time? Is it the right time if you go 6x? Or is it the right time, or is it the wrong time because you missed out on another 6x?
Well, it's all about the opportunity cost of capital. It is what are you going to do with that money? You know, if you're going to stick it in treasuries, probably best to hang on and watch your investment go up. But you know, this is. Some of the traditional financial rules don't apply. These are people who want to be a member of an exclusive club, and they are. And Vivek got in there at exactly the right time. I mean, he used to be a minority owner of the Warriors, but this is. I'm not saying it's about ego. I'm just saying, you know, when you have enough money, what's Bruce Springsteen's old line? Poor man want to be rich, rich man want to be king. So at some point, these guys make enough money where money doesn't matter anymore. And now it's what are the prime pieces of real estate or sports or a business that I just want to own, that I want to own and control and run, and I find enjoyment in it. So but when there's only 32 of them, boy, the prices can get a little hairy. And then, of course, we don't even know. I mean, you hope that all the investments, you know, Vivek is making in his group in other stuff downtown. I mean, there's the Kings and there's Golden One. There's that, but there's also the River Cats, the real estate, the hotel, you know, all that stuff. You hope that's doing well. Obviously, downtowns in California have had a rough 5 years since COVID and some of the other issues that have emerged. But that's another piece of it, and that's the benefit for us. If you can get that level of money coming into, maybe look at who knows what happens with the River Cats and the A's and everything else, but you're hoping that there's some momentum there. So I don't know the answer to that, David. It all depends. I'm always surprised when people sell. I'm shocked Rick Rosepbeck is selling. I mean, he is the toast of the town in Boston right now. And I don't know I don't know what better use of his money he has for that cash.
Man.
And just to end on this note, because it is incredibly fascinating to me. Let's just look at finish on the psychology, because you hit on it, Kelly. Most of your really, really, really rich people, not all, but I would venture a guess that most of them were pretty much dorks in school. They were socially inept. And part of that could be because they were, and I'm going to explain myself here, whether they were nose deep in a book while everybody else was partying and doing keg stands. They were, figuring out some crazy math problem and trying to figure out how to program something. I mean this. I don't mean this in any personal way with our guy Vivek, but Vivek's a dork. They're half of our ownership group. They're nerds. And nerds run the world. Like, I don't look at dork or nerd as a pejorative anymore. It is in school when we're all immature, but then, we're the ones serving them fries now. And then what happens is, to your point, is that they get rich and everybody's rich and they hang in these rich circles and they surround themselves with sycophants that are on the payroll that overlaugh at all their jokes, but they're not cool. They're still dorks. They're just dorks with money. When you buy a professional team, now in the NFL, you're up in the skybox. Okay. You're in the owner's box. When you own the baseball team, you may not even be there. And if you are, when do you ever see owners for Major League Baseball teams? When you are in the NBA, you are front and center. You are at center court. And just look at Vivek and what he's done with this. He's a software guy. He's an engineer. And now he's hanging out with DeMar DeRozan and Kelsey Grammer and 50 Cent. And it is a skeleton key into these celebrity circles where you can also create these deals that you make with these guys, and the illusion, whether real or not, that they're your friends, that you are, if not an A-list, a B-list celebrity. And if there's one thing we all know about people with wealth, is that the only thing bigger than their bank accounts are their egos and their insecurities. So I think your point is very well taken, that it's not just the investment, which, oh, by the way, is phenomenal. It's also the foot in the door when it comes to the world of being a celebrity. And that's hard to give up for a lot of these guys.
No, it is. And two quick things, because I know you got to go. You got to break for time. I know your clock better. No. Two things. Number one, there's a reason Wick Grosbeck and Mark Cuban, they have sold, but they have retained some equity and control for years to come. So they're still in the game. They're just monetizing part of a significant chunk of their investment. Second thing is interesting. Last week it came out, for the first time ever with any of these big tech companies, a guy who was hired by the tech company is now richer than the founder of the tech company.
Wow.
And I'm talking about Steve Ballmer, because Gates got out and he diversified a big chunk of his money and he gave a bunch to his foundation and everything else. Ballmer held on to Microsoft stock even after he left, and Microsoft has been unbelievable. And so Ballmer is now richer than Gates. And Ballmer, of course, owns the Clippers. And Ballmer is really the one who kicked off this incredible price appreciation when he bought the Clippers. You'll recall that number. That was such a shocking number when Donald Sterling had to get out, and Ballmer came in and bought it. So I think you're right. There's much more to this than money, which again, it goes back to, then why are they selling? And there's plenty of reasons. Anyway, guys, great to chat with you. We'll do it again next week.
You brought up a great point. We'll take a break, Kelly. That's perfect. Steve Ballmer looks like Chris Farley's van down by the river's illegitimate child. He's the biggest dork of them all. And
watch him dance. Go back on YouTube and look at the video of him dancing in front of the Microsoft team. Oh, my goodness.
See you, buddy.
That it looks like Jason Ross at junior prom.
Hey, Too true.
Have a good week.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That is the Kelly brothers. We're way late for a break. We will come back and we'll get into Team USA and all that fun stuff right after this.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hard Help Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, I love you just the way Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, even though Brent Rooker was certainly deserving with his 18 homers and 54 RBIs, the A's electric closer Mason Miller is the team's representative in the All-Star game. Now, he joins a list of 5 other Oakland rookies who have been named to the team over the years, names like Wayne Gross, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, Andrew Bailey, and Ryan Cook.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay to store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what you doing for Chrysler's Make This the Summer sales event?
Well, this month we have something special that only happens once a year. Big savings on one of America's most capable minivans. Right now you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining 23 Chrysler Pacifica hybrids, and that's on all trims.
Now, you said Chrysler Pacifica hybrids. Those things get 82 miles per gallon E with gas prices so high and $17,000 off MSRP. That's a no-brainer.
And a deal like this only happens once a year, so this is the time to take advantage of this savings at the dealership and at the pump.
The savings won't last long. Stop by Hoblet Dodge for a test drive today or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. Period.
$17,000 total net savings after $7,500 factory rebates and $9,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $7,500 federal EV tax credit offered by a third party and subject to change. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. 82 MPGE combined city highway rating based on fueleconomy.gov EPA rating. Send this net savings while supplies last. See dealer for details.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, our thanks to Kelly Brothers. Always a fun segment with him. My dad's favorite segment. I think I've said that before. Anthony Slater of The Athletic will join us at 8 a.m., subbing in for Sam Amick, who is on vacation. And then coming up at 9 a.m., Jason Ross. Mark Deeks, NBA scout, writer. He's going to talk to us about Sasha Vezenkov. He had some interesting info on the Sasha drama, if you will. So we'll talk to him at 9. By the way, that soundbite you just played of my dad, interesting conversation. I mistakenly, while playing spades last night, asked my wife if she was familiar with the soundbite we played for her. And as soon as I said that, I instantly realized I had made just such an idiot rookie mistake, because the eyes got wide and she locked them on me and said, "What soundbite do you play for me?" And then I had to go through the whole story of it very carefully while she just hung on every word and eyed me up and down. And this is a true story. At the very end of my explanation, she just kind of sighed and she said, and on my kids, this is the truth, "I hate Christopher Lott. I really do." So
Chris enjoyed that actually a lot.
She's not the only one.
That's actually like a badge of honor for him to hear that.
I think it is. He's such a smart ass. I just hate him, but I think it was a term of endearment or not. What do you care? Coming up, we got all that stuff right now, though. Team USA beat Canada in a tune-up. Are we excited about that? They beat Canada.
But Canada is actually that's a really good squad. That's going to be a team that has a chance to threaten Team USA, I would say.
What, by saying like we'll slap you in the face? I mean, how else are they going to threaten us?
We're going to be mean to you. That's what it's about.
Stop or I'll say stop again. I mean, it's Canada.
Yes. And don't make me say it 4 more times.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I'm being an arrogant American right now. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Luguentz Dort, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, our very own Trey Lyles, Jamal Murray, Andrew Nemhard, Kelly Olynyk, and Dwight Powell, amongst others. I will say this about
coached by Jordy.
Jordy Fernandez. Yeah. That is an incredibly scrappy team.
Yes.
And so I was looking at all that. Not only, I didn't realize, by the way, that Dylan Brooks is Canadian. Is he the worst Canadian ever? Like Canadians are supposed to be so sweet and nice and polite. What the hell happened?
Good point. I don't know.
He probably wasn't raised. I'll have to find out. He probably wasn't raised. He was just born. It was one of those things where he can't make the U.S. team, so it's like Joel Embiid, like over here. Like,
right.
There's a thing there. But I was looking at the Canadian national team. So would that team win an NBA title?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'll run.
I'm not certain.
I mean, that would be a really good defensive team. A really good defensive team. But I don't know if I'm with you.
What's the front court? Do the best of the front court again, because I think you got Murray, SGA, Dort probably is a defender on the. I know he's shorter, but he's so strong.
I mean, you got Brooks, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I mean, you got a lot of defense there. Trey Lyles, maybe.
Yeah.
Olynyk, Nemhard. You are going to be weak in the front court. Yeah, that's their weakness. You're 100% right. Wow. Interesting. But then again, hey, look, the Celtics won it with Al Horford. I mean, no offense to him. I'm saying he's not like a superstar center. All right. Chris is yelling at us because I say because it was my fault. I went late last time. Gracie, get out of there, stupid. All right. Well, sorry, guys. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will talk to Anthony Slater of The Athletic about the Sacramento Kings and DeMar DeRozan. We'll do all that right after this.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Slash presents Serpent Festival, a celebration of the blues. Friday, July 12th at the venue at Thunder Valley, starring Slash, Warren Haynes Band, Beautifully Broken, Samantha Fish,
Y'all guesses I can dance with,
and Eric Gales.
It's gonna be a steep climb.
Don't miss an all-star night of blues, Friday, July 12th at the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Serpent Festival.
The weather is hot, and so are the deals this month at Premier Pools and Spas Sizzlin' Summer Sale. If you've been anguishing in the searing Sacramento sun, we're here to help with scorching savings on new pools and pool remodels. After 35 years as the region's top builder, Premier Pools and Spas has the hard-won knowledge and expertise you need to seize your summer. But act fast before these deals melt away on July 20th. It's the Sizzlin' Summer Sale, only at Premier Pools and Spas. CSLB number 589234.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back. Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross, Chris Verlod, and the second half of the program. Sam Amick, national NBA writer for The Athletic, making way too much money. He will be in Europe vacationing.
I know I'm shamelessly pumping the poll here.
That's our guy. He'll be there for the Olympics, and I believe he'll be with his family. And truth be told, we've always Sam's fine, but we've always requested Anthony Slater, and Sam kind of blocks that one. So the advantage to Sam being gone is we get Anthony on the program. Anthony, it's Dave, it's Jason, and thanks for filling in. Good morning.
Shamelessly plugging the poll. I like that soundbite.
Yeah,
he has
to live with that one forever.
Yeah,
that's him.
That's him. You guys do wonderful work, and of course we love Sam and go way back with him. But a lot of times, Anthony, you'll put out things on the Kings as well, and it's interesting to get both viewpoints. We'll just start really with you and this DeRozan move. Your thoughts on that? Good, bad, indifferent, etc.
I mean, it's a talent upgrade. It's a tricky fit. I have concerns defensively. It's an interesting transition time for them because, I think Mike Brown did make a lot of or help them make some defensive strides late last season, but he's going to have another challenge ahead of him last season. What did they finish, 14th defensively? Something like that, which is the best in 18 years, something like that. That would be impressive next season if they can finish 14th. Now, the different lineups will help. I think Keon Ellis will play a big role, but I like what they can now do down the stretch. I know De'Aaron Fox was a big proponent of it, which is very relevant for several reasons, but one of them is just I think he wants some pressure taken off and key moments. They're playing the Pelicans. Can Herb Jones guard DeRozan for a little bit? I think De'Aaron Fox wants those moments where he's just not always the one getting hounded. So there are a lot of benefits to it. Again, it's a talent upgrade over Harrison Barnes. It is, but I don't think it's the cleanest fit.
Yeah. So with that, is the fit for you more of a concern defensively, or just are there some offensive things that you see as a fit issue maybe?
Yeah, I think both. It's not like he's, DeRozan's known as like the best cutter. I think part of why they exploded a couple of years ago offensively is because of the DHO stuff and like the way Herter could move and the type of season he had and how everyone kind of fit around Sabonis. I don't think, that's not necessarily DeMar DeRozan's specialty. It's going to be a lot of like, clear side of the floor, pump fake, right? DeRozan's like best skill is his pump fake. That's like what he's famous for. That's like kind of slow basketball. It's mid post stuff. It's stuff that doesn't necessarily get everybody flowing. So again, it's tricky, but also you have to evolve. I'm talking to Kings people. I think part of the reasoning behind the move is like they were solved a little bit offensively last year. They can't just have this free flowing, number one offense in the league for the next half decade. Like they need to change some things. And part of changing some things is just getting an elite scorer who can score 24 a game. And that's part of winning against good teams, right? You can do a lot of that flowing stuff against your average NBA teams. But if you need to beat good defenses, if you need to beat the Pelicans in New Orleans with your season on the line, sometimes you just need to give the ball to a great scorer, and he needs to score against, long defenses.
You mentioned how this will help De'Aaron Fox, and I agree with you in every way. Also, DeMar DeRozan holds the ball at one of the highest clips in the league. How's that going to affect Sabonis and Fox, who also, by the way, holds the ball a little bit as well?
I would probably worry about Sabonis more in that sense, and because he almost needs a specific type of offense where it's not even just holding the ball, but people are kind of circling around him, and I think the loss of Monk, you could tell down the stretch, hurt Sabonis because they're kind of like pick and roll chemistry, but also like the lessening of Kevin Huerter. I think when Kevin Huerter was at his best a couple of years ago, that really helped Sabonis because Kevin Huerter plays a perfect style to pair with Sabonis, whereas DeRozan doesn't. But also at the same time, I mean, these are two very skilled players. Sabonis can get some of his stuff going in transition. DeRozan can play some transition basketball. It's going to take a little time. And, the truth about Sabonis, while he needs the ball, he's not demanding 17 shots per game. He doesn't need his 20. He can really affect the game in a lot of ways, obviously from a rebounding and assist perspective. But, I do think it's going to take a little time. I bet you that first month and a half, it can be a little awkward offensively, and they'll probably need to find different lineups. I think they'll really kind of separate some of these guys, and one of them will have to be leading the second unit. It might affect Monk too. That's another guy we didn't mention.
Yeah, talking with Anthony Slater from The Athletic. He's in Vegas getting ready for Summer League out there. You just brought up Monk, but you've mentioned Herter. The Kings have a couple of roster spots still available, and they're still kind of in the rumor mill. I know a lot of the free agents have been scooped up. What do you think the play is here for Monty and the front office to try to address defense, just find some fringe depth? Like there's a couple different ways they can go. How do you think they approach the rest of the offseason?
Yeah, look, I mean, this is the time where everyone kind of waits out the veteran minimum market to play itself out by mid-July when all these guys realize there's no money left out there. Now, there's maybe big, I think a lot of the league is waiting on this marketing situation. Does Utah renegotiate and extend? Do they trade? That could break loose some of this stuff. But as far as, I do think Kevin Huerter's relatively available, at his contract price. He could be, used maybe with a pick to go try to get somebody that fits what they are doing right now a little bit better. I've always thought Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith to a lesser degree makes a lot of sense for not only the Kings, but the Nets are in a rebuild. They could use a pick. But I don't know. I don't know how available those two really are at this point. So I think there's, like you said, smaller moves out there, but there's also a chance you just get a couple minimums, and this is kind of your roster heading into the season, and you just view DeRozan over Barnes as the upgrade that maybe can get you into the playoffs.
Anthony Slater of The Athletic joining us. The Kings, as you wrote on Sunday, were very heavily involved in the Lauri Markkanen talks and protecting Keegan Murray from those talks. If Danny Ainge were to relent and there was some sort of a Herter or whomever and multiple first-round pick deal there for the taking for Lauri Markkanen. A, would you view that from the Kings as an all-in move? And B, would you view it as the right all-in move?
Yeah, I'd like it. I do kind of think that them going after DeRozan, you know, throwing the 2031, pick swap to San Antonio was them relenting on Markkanen. I have heard, you know, especially from the Kings side, but really league wide, that there's kind of skepticism that Utah's actually going to pull the trigger on that move. So, but it would make, I mean, Markkanen fits anywhere, especially, you know, when you have star scorers, because he's doesn't need the ball in his hands necessarily, but he's a rim protecting, you know, like elite shooter. I mean, those are the guys that I think take championship teams over the top. So it would make sense to in my opinion, the Warriors are much more in on the in the market and chase and currently are, and they're more willing to be patient. They didn't use any of their draft capital to go elsewhere. And but again, I mean, everyone's looking at that August 6th date because that is the date that you know, I think Markkanen's either going to extend or not extend. And if he does extend, then he'll be available to be traded at the deadline. If he doesn't, if he waits till August 7th, I mean, he's unavailable all year. So I would have viewed Brandon Ingram more probably in the Kings price range, but at the same time, I think DeRozan was their move. I really kind of think that they're done with the big moves.
Yeah, what's your thought on Keegan? Because I totally understand the Kings' desire to keep him. He's on a rookie deal. He's been a good two-way player and is getting better. But I feel like Dave and I have talked about, like, he is a guy that probably could unlock some real talent from some other teams. But that's the trick, right, Anthony? Like, I think the Kings have a good one, but are they too enamored with Keegan, do you think? Is that something, I wouldn't say that's hurting him, but that could really change the outlook of the team if they were willing to part with him?
Yeah, a few things there. I mean, you mentioned it's not a small thing that he has 2 more cheap years left. You know, this is a franchise that is staring at a very expensive future. You know, Sabonis is exploding salary-wise this year. We know the type of number Fox is heading towards, especially if he gets all NBA. You know, DeRozan, you know, is kind of a big money piece. If you had traded for a market, he's going to be sitting there hand out $140 million a year. Any type of guy you would trade a Keegan Murray for is a max guy, is a huge money guy. So the fact that Keegan Murray can stay on the books, to them, you know, believed to be a core piece, and he's making, I don't know what it is next year, like $9-ish million, something like that. Like that's huge. Obviously, he will become expensive. Are they too enamored with Keegan Murray? That's the league, right? If you hit on a lottery pick and you are the front office that did, you're just kind of naturally more protective of those type of guys. You know, I deal with it, you know, in the Bay Area where it's like, should they trade Jonathan Kuminga? They probably value Jonathan Kuminga more because of what he means to, you know, like how valuable a pick they used on him. They held on to James Wiseman too long for many of those reasons. Now, Keegan Murray is better than that. Keegan Murray's future is brighter than that. But yeah, I would kind of say that like Monty McNair and their group is much more protective of Keegan Murray's future than maybe like the most cold-hearted person would be if you're just looking like value for value.
And I hear you and I agree with you. The asterisk in the back of my head, the voice in the back of my head always makes me nervous because this was the exact conversations we were having around the league with Tyrese Halliburton. So for you, was that just almost like a one-time anomaly?
Yeah, I do think that there was that they sensed the bumping of heads, not of personalities of Halliburton and Fox, but just like of on-court product. Like I think they were concerned, you know, how those two moving forward would fit as kind of like a pairing. And they wanted to rebalance the roster, and obviously, like the Sabonis Fox fit, they were correct. Like that's been a really good basketball fit. So that's what you don't have with Keegan Murray, and that's part of the appeal of Keegan Murray is like he's one of those players that like there isn't a star he doesn't fit around, a place he wouldn't fit because he's just going to be a sharpshooter that I think can create a bit more than he has. I think that's where his ceiling is, but also at the same time, like you can never run a play for him and he's going to be very effective for you because he's going to guard multiple positions. He's going to help all your lineup combinations and he's going to space the floor. He's always going to drag a defender out. So that is, I would say the difference there is just like Keegan Murray really fits what they're building, whereas I think they had to decide between Fox and Halliburton in their opinion, and that's why they pulled the trigger. But it is a good point. I mean, it is an example of a front office drilling a first-round pick and then trading them very quickly, which is very rare in the league.
Anthony, so this offseason, I think by and large, you extend Mike Brown, you keep Monk, that was huge. You get DeRozan. Maybe there's some other fringe moves coming, but look, they've been good, but they haven't been great. They're trying to chase greatness here. Where in your mind, like present day, and it's probably an unfair question, but in this talented West, where do you see them? What tier of the West are they in right now?
Yeah, I would say they're in kind of like that 5 at the top end, 9 at the bottom end. Like you're trying to avoid the play-in, right? Everyone, that's become like the new goal is like at least be the 6th seed. Do not have your season on the line in that week right before the playoffs. And I think they've done enough to rightfully go into the season believing, if they have a good regular season, they should avoid that. As far as the, chasing greatness, getting to that next level, I'm kind of the belief that they'd probably need to get somebody better than Sabonis or better than Fox. I do think part of what caps them in this modern NBA is I'm not sure their 1-2 is a championship 1-2, and that might be controversial to some people, but it's like, I think Dallas, for example, part of the reason I think Dallas, exploded in the playoffs is because it's Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. I do think there's like a different level of top end star you have to win in the West Finals, to win in the NBA Finals, and I think that's probably why I believe this Kings team is capped at like a second round type team. But that's much easier said than done. You can be like, yeah, go acquire Nikola Jokic, go acquire Giannis, something like that. Like, I think they've done as good as they can with kind of like the card they've been dealt.
You talked about the DeMar DeRozan fit. And I agree with you, by the way, 100% on the possible fit issues. Is that something in your mind that maybe can't be completely defeated, but helped if they make the right front court defensive type move?
Yeah, I do. I think that's where, like, the marketing move earlier, I mean, they need rim protection and it's tough. I mean, Sabonis has to play the 5 in the modern NBA. So like you almost need a 4 that can play a ton of minutes and that, can not only stretch the floor, but can, scare people at the rim. I think it's very difficult for Mike Brown to generate a top 10 type defense. And usually if you're a championship contender, you need a top 10-ish defense and offense. It's difficult to do that when when a team knows like they're not fearing anybody at the rim 35 minutes a night. Sure, you can throw an Alex Lynn out there for 10 minutes and he might block a couple shots, but who is that for? I think they're going to, I think Trey Lyles is going to play a lot more than probably people realize this season. I think his knee injury last year was a bigger setback than people realize. I can see Trey Lyles starting. I have heard they've thought about like a really big lineup, and that's where I think Keegan Murray helps. But if we're talking about a high level front court pairing, Markkanen's probably the only potentially available guy out there that I think would really change the dynamic.
And you brought up Markkanen earlier too. Are the Warriors the one to watch there, or is this really just a whole bunch of nothing here?
I mean, they're in it. Like from what I gather, they're waiting for you. It's almost at the point where Utah has to have their answer with Markkanen. Do they extend him? Do they not? Do they internally decide it's time to really hit the eject button? Do they watch Cooper Flagg's Team USA practice and fall in love enough where they're like, we need to have the worst record this season? But if they do hit that eject button, which I would say 20% chance at this point, I think he's just going to, they've saved their cap space for a reason. I think they're going to renegotiate and extend. But if they do, from what I gather, like the Warriors are the package they've looked at most, partly because, teams out there they want to bet against the Warriors' future. They want those future Warriors picks more than they want most teams' picks because, it's a non-Steph Curry era coming.
Do you think you talked about the starting lineup, and now you got me thinking? Yeah, Malik Monk at his press conference was very upfront that he wanted to start, and he said this last year too. But then he always augments it with, "But I'm open. I'll do what helps the team." In your brain of brains, do you think when we open up in October at Golden One Center or wherever, do you think Malik Monk's at starting too?
No, I don't. I think that Mike Brown, not only is Malik Monk's future now settled, but Mike Brown's future is now settled too. And Mike Brown likes him off the bench. I mean, Mike Brown has never started him, and you guys know there's been several games, several chances for him too. And that's one of the things I think that makes Mike Brown a good NBA coach. Like, he kind of has a backbone in that sense, where Malik Monk can tell the media this and, yell at Mike Brown in practice about that, and believe he should be the starting two guard in this team. And Mike Brown can just go, no, you're still going to play 25, 30 minutes. But I think we would all agree, like, he does make sense more as a sixth man. He is your kind of spark off the bench. And I think you can balance your lineups much better. And you do want more defense out there to open games. I think Keon Ellis makes a lot of sense if you want a more perimeter oriented, low usage, bulldog to guard out there. And then I would really I think they're going to look at this Trey Lyles option and go with a more jumbo lineup potentially, where it's Fox, DeRozan, Murray, Trey Lyles, Sabonis, if they want more size. But again, I think these are defensive equations. And I think Malik Monk, he signed back knowing who his coach was and what his role has been on this team. So as much as he may want it, as much as he may voice it, I think he's going to be your sixth man again.
Any chance that it's Herter there? That doesn't address the defensive part, but I mean, 2 years ago, he was a good starter. Last year certainly didn't have the years, I guess there's always a chance, but if he's still on the roster, is he potentially a starter at 2?
He's going to have to not only show he's healthy, right? That's the big thing with him. He's coming off of major surgery, the same one the rookie just got. And he's just going to have to shoot it really well. I know that's why his role lessened last year, which was, if he's going to bring his flaws to the table that he can't correct, particularly defensively, but he was so good because he was such a good shooter for so long, and that left him. So to answer your question, I think he'd have to come out and really win that job by just shooting the heck out of it for, months straight in whatever role he's given.
And then if he is, to your point, and I think Ellis starting or Lyles starting, whichever way you want to slide DeRozan, is an interesting concept, but also that then creates a Monk, Herter, if Lyles isn't starting, Lyles, Devin Carter. Now all of a sudden you've got a really, really deep 8-man rotation.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the underrated part of like when it melted down a little bit late last season, was like the depth became an issue. Remember, he was like going with like a 7 to 8-ish man rotation by the end. And I do think, DeRozan kind of helps beef you up a little bit. I want to see Carter. I think that's a blow already that he's getting, this surgery. Like, that sets a rookie back, because now you don't have camp, you don't have like integration time. I think that's tough, because I think part of the reason he appealed to them so much is because it seemed like a player that could step in right away and give you 20 minutes. So we'll see if he is, as good as they hope he can be. Maybe he won't need that much time, but I would think by the end of the season, they kind of need his skill set off the bench. But it feels like a deeper team. But again, it always feels like a deeper team. And then Malik Monk and Kevin Herter are out at the most important point of the season. And you're like, man, this feels a lot more thin. So no injuries. Yes, they're deep, but you almost got to plan for injuries.
Yeah, it's been a little open-ended. Not that anybody expects to know the answer on the timeline for Carter, but I'm with you, Anthony. I wanted to see him play in the Classic. I want to see him play out there in Vegas, where you are, and just see. A lot of people did like the draft pick and want to see what kind of defender and athlete he could be for this team. Have you heard any kind of word on what kind of timeline we might be looking at with his injury?
Yeah, it's these surgeries definitely come with more of an open-ended timeline, but I would expect him to miss camp, miss preseason, miss the start of the season. They'll probably play it safe. They'll probably have to ease him back, especially once the NBA season starts. There's so little practice time for these teams because the schedules are so compact. I'm sure they're going to have to ease him back in the G League. So again, like this is more speculation, but I would guess we're talking, November, December before you really see him. And that that is a setback. But what I will say about him is, especially now being out in Vegas, being at the California Classic, talking to people that are just like unrelated to the Kings, almost everyone I talk to about Carter, they're like, oh, man, love him. What a pick. But, so I do think they've been given a very good grade on that pick long term by the league, but just maybe it's the skeptical side of me. Like, I think his rookie season's kind of, it's going to be really challenging for him to make an impact, because rookies who miss a bunch of that early part of the season, like, they're just so behind.
And, I'm a fan of this front office, and I'm vocal about that. But what do you make, though, of the Carter injury and the fact that they didn't bring him in for medical pre-draft?
Yeah, I'd like to know the specifics more to know, because I don't want to sit here and crush them if it's like, hey, look, they knew, like, this is what it was going to be. They're not exactly going to detail that in a press conference setting. But, look, to be fair, Monty McNair, the night they drafted him, was like, oh, a little minor shoulder thing. Like, we don't know if he can play summer league yet. And then it's like, okay, now he's out for, several months.
That's what worries me, Anthony. That's what same thing I picked up on.
Yeah, for sure. That would be strike one of the pick again. Like, if he's a stud long term, we'll all forget about it. It'll still be a great pick, but that not a good start. Certainly not a good start as we you regrade these drafts every month. Well, this is a rough beginning to the career.
My last thing I wonder what in Vegas, it doesn't have the same zip this year like Wembanyama, but what are you looking for overall out there while you're in Vegas for summer league?
It is an extremely boring summer league, because it was a boring draft, right? Last year I was out here watching like Chet Holmgren. Obviously, you had the Wemby show. A lot of that. It's just, the best event I've been to, I already went to. I went last night to Team USA Canada. That was fun. It was high level basketball. Jordy Fernandez out there coaching Team Canada. You guys know him well, but it was packed. Celebrities everywhere. Like, that was the event of the summer league. I don't know. I mean, you want to see the Richeche is playing against Alex Sarr. They love to pair up, the number 1 and number 2 pick as kind of like the highlight game. But how many people are going to be tuning in for Richeche against Alex Sarr? Right.
I got one last thing for you because we got to wrap up. I'm just such a nerd, man. So you're in your hotel room. What are you using as a mic? And I don't see any sort of headphone or AirPod. What is your setup there?
Yeah, so I forgot my mic. Usually I would have a Shure mic and it would be right here. And people like to make fun of me. I go on like NBA TV and there's just this massive mic here. So I'm using a MacBook right now. I'm just speaking to you through my Mac.
That's a great sound. That's your onboard mic. That's actually really good for an onboard.
Well, this is an Apple commercial for you then. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm glad it sounds good. I was a little worried because I didn't bring my mic. So I'm glad it sounds good.
Yeah,
that's what I was tripping on. Then are you hearing through the speakers as well?
Yes, I am. You are. If anybody else was in my hotel room, which nobody is in my hotel room, you would be. The sound is out and about.
Great job filling in for our guy Sam. We appreciate that. We know where the talent is, and you'll be covering Summer League and all things great and small. Check out The Athletic. Get subscriptions. It's a phenomenal deal. I got a subscription for me, one for my kid, all curated and fantastically put together for you on the app, and some phenomenal journalism as well. Anthony, we appreciate it. You have yourself a good day.
I appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. And it's funny, Jason, as we head to break, and we'll talk about this when we come back. But some guys in the chat not happy with everything Anthony's saying, and it worries me a little bit. This is what I'm talking about with getting too high. It's the right. Look, Anthony might be full of garbage and wrong about everything he said. He also might be right. Odds are the truth is somewhere in the middle. But the right opinion isn't always the most popular one, and I'm just a little afraid people are setting themselves up for way too high of an expectation. I hope that's not the case, man. And by the way, I hope their high expectations are met. I just don't want if this team ends up being a 6 seed and they're out in the first round. I feel like there's a large portion of the fan base that is going to be incredibly disappointed with that. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and that's why you play it out, right? And to see how it'll all go. I mean, certainly he complimented the team and what the overall talent upgrade is, but I think his questions and concerns are more than fair. It's stuff we've addressed. And Yeah, I mean, there's some front court issues. Can Sabonis as the center lead them? There's questions. I think that's fair.
And I think it's also fair that you get a combination of people talking about it. Look, we have Sam on all the time, and Sam's not a homer. Sam will speak it how it is, but you want to get a second opinion when you're talking about something this important. Am I wrong?
Of course you need a second opinion.
You gotta have it. I know somebody who will give you second opinions. My friends over at American Energy. For example, if you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were surprised at the cost of the repair, or something seemed off about the quote, at American Energy, they take pride in giving honest, straightforward solutions to get your system up and running. You can have their qualified technicians come out to you and give you a free second opinion. Like, for example, when I had that conversation earlier about talking to my wife last night about the soundbite we used for her, and she said she hated Christopher a lot. I want a second opinion. Now, I understand that she's probably right, and that's how you should feel, but it's good to go around the room and see where those opinions are. Now, unlike my wife, American Energy Heating and Air has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Like my wife, nope, not going to say that. She was not going to. They have the same year they started, so I was going to say they've both been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981, but I'm not going to say that. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll clean a lot of things up, including a firing in U.S. soccer, a brawl in the stands at Copa America. We'll get the play-by-play from Christopher Lott, and will Team USA win the gold in Paris? We'll get to all that right after this.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and after a warm start this morning, we're going to heat it up this afternoon with temperatures up over 110 degrees in many spots. Winds will stay fairly light, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Your water heater. Old, rusty, forgotten. We hardly ever even think about them until there's no hot water. Right now, get incredible rebates up to $3,000 off and financing available for as little as $40 a month. Leave it to Bonnie to crank up the heat.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Sign up for Sky River Rewards, and you'll get $15 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got him. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings. In the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, we're not done yet. Our thanks to Anthony Slater. Mark Deeks, NBA scout writer, he's going to join us. You can read some of his stuff at Mark Deeks. That's Deeks NBA. On Twitter. We'll talk to him about the Sasha Vezenkov drama and a few other things around the NBA. Jason, I want to talk about Anthony Slater, who was just our guest.
That was great.
I've been in the chat. I thought it was phenomenal. 916-339-1140 is where you can text us from the 916. Dave, Jason, I've been listening to the show for probably almost a decade now. This is hands down, one of your best guests, and opinions, as we just talked about with American Energy, will of course vary. But let me get into the YouTube chat. I'm just going to go through. I'm not picking on anybody at all. I'm just going to go down the line. I don't really disagree with what Anthony Slater said, except judging the Carter pick. A lot of, here we go. Dan says, I appreciate Slater's insight and inside knowledge, but he sure sounds like a bit of a hater.
I didn't feel that.
I didn't feel that at all. I'm not one that thinks we're winning a chip, but we got better. Hamburger Dad, love that name. I don't think this team is a championship contender. They probably never will be, and that's okay. But the energy Slater gives off is that if you aren't winning a championship, you suck. Ryan, I'm not thinking we will win it all next season, but he basically said we'll never win one. So I guess we just shouldn't have hope or watch anymore. So look,
which is a funny read. I didn't have that read. I thought it was fair and observant, and again, could be right, could be wrong. I mean, that's all of our opinions, right? If someone says they're going to win a championship next year, I would disagree, but they could be right. As someone says they're going to miss the playoffs, I'd probably disagree, but they could be right. I just thought, I think where maybe my thought was maybe people would land more Davis. I thought the one strongest one to me was he wasn't sure a Fox Sabonis tandem could win a championship. And well, one, it hasn't. I'm not entirely sure. I think it can, but it has to be proven, right? It hasn't done it.
They have not won a championship last I checked, and that's fine. Most teams and most players, or many, have not. We all want the same thing. We want the Kings to win a championship, and beyond that, we want the Kings to do well and be better. It just goes to the psychology, and maybe I'm sensitive about this because I hear a lot of the same things sometimes. I mean, I've literally had people tell me, I love you, blah, 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 but sometimes I truly want to hear positivity. And when I hear, sometimes I think like a negative take is really just simply a grounded take. if I say that DeMar DeRozan, and by the way, so did Slater, he said it's a good pickup. The Kings are a better team. It's an upgrade over Harrison Barnes. However, there are some questions that go with it. That's no different than anything we've talked about.
Right.
And the fact that this does not appear to be a championship team, okay. But they are progressively getting better. I don't see the issue with that. And hell, I'd love to be wrong about it.
Yeah, and even some of the, let's say, I would say the most common thread of things that people think this team is missing, and I'm just going to grab rim protection, perimeter, kind of anchor defense or front court defense. So let's say that was agreed on, that was addressed. Well, okay, maybe they filled more of the holes. Maybe they moved up in some people's mind to a upper tier Western Conference team, at least before the season. Again, can that group win a championship? All that's up for grabs. 2 years ago, they had a great season. They were the 3 seed. A lot of times, the champ comes from about the 1, 2, or 3 seed. They were in that group. They didn't get out of the first round. Doesn't mean they were a total failure, but that group just didn't quite get through. Was it the matchup? Was it the inexperience? Yes and yes. I don't know. So, even if you have all the things, let's go to last year. Starting the year, before it even began, one of the favorites was the Phoenix Suns. And people did that
That's
because,
right.
oh my goodness, Durant, Beal, and Booker and what they've got. I understood why people thought that. They finished as a 6 seed and didn't get out of round 1. So there are going to be people that are perceived to be favorites. Boston will certainly be a favorite because they've done it and they're back. But, you've just got to go. I think the consensus, though, is the Kings are better. That's a good thing. It's just how much better? And is it incrementally? Is it substantially? We kind of have to wait and see how it all plays out.
I think the psychology is fascinating. And again, speaking as a family member with our family, which is how I consider it, Jason, we've done this long enough. So I'm gonna provide some examples. When they didn't want to hear any negativity, was when this team drafted Marvin Bagley. How many times were you or I or anyone, I know I was screamed at because from the jump, it was a terrible pick. I couldn't believe why they wouldn't pick Luka Doncic. And it was, get over it. We drafted Bagley. You're not welcoming him. You're sending a bad vibe. And how do you know he's not better? Are you the GM? By the way, that's an example of one where I was right. How about when, I was super high on Thomas Robinson. That didn't work out. You know what else people didn't want to hear negativity on? Dude, we have DeMarcus Cousins, Isaiah Thomas, and Rudy Gay. What are you talking about? This team's on the up. How about Dave Yeager almost had them to 500. How can you not think we've been here so many times before? In fact, I would say there are far more examples of fans, which is short for fanatic, that tend to lean overly positive, that I think it's okay. In fact, we had a commenter earlier as we break here. Sorry, Chris, that said, I thought Slater's comments were fair and grounded. I'm paraphrasing here, but you're not going to get that necessarily, or a good reaction to that, in local sports radio chat. And I got to tell you, this, that drives me crazy because I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to have an echo chamber show. I don't want to have a homer show, although we're homers. I don't want to have a show where we're banking on ratings and effectively lying to people. And what I mean by lying is I consider a lie by omission to be one of the biggest transgressions you can have in this type of job. Lying by omission means you're holding back on unpopular conversation from the bulk of your audience because you don't want people tuning out. And I can look right now at the numbers real time on our YouTube chat, for example, and I can see when things go up and down. And the moment we start changing our opinions based on what people want to hear, to me, that just means we've created an echo chamber. And I don't think we're doing a service to the fans as journalists, if you will. I use that term lightly. I don't think we're doing a service to anybody by not looking at all sides of the equation. I don't think that's hating. I don't think that's being a Debbie Downer. I don't think that's being negative. I think when you say DeMar DeRozan is a great signing and this team's going to be offensively better, but my God, are there huge defensive questions and you're capped if you can't play defense, I don't think that's an outlandish take.
Right. And I think for me overall, I've never been a fan of the, how do I put it? The absolutes, like the total black and white. There's so much gray in between all of these things. So to say, again, I guess if I did put an absolute out there, my absolute today would be like, I think this team is better. I think they've got better talent. And I would say, I don't think today, we do the $250,000 money bag or whatever. You betting, like, I would not bet the Kings to win a championship. Now, I feel like that opinion could change, though. It's like, okay, you know what? This actually fit was better than everybody thought. The offense is way better. The defense didn't have much slippage. You know what? I might change that opinion in November or December or January. But today, no, I don't think so. But I do also think they got better. I like the signing. I think there's some of the positives that he has. And Anthony even said that. Like, look, you're playing that game against New Orleans, a game to get into the next round, or to get into the playoffs. And when they've cut off all the other things besides Fox, it sure would have been nice to have DeRozan last year. And then now you pair it with a healthy Malik and everything else they've got. That's going to be the best version that they've got right now. It's just how good will that be?
We'll take a break. When we come back, who's hot, who's not. And we go streaking to see if we can, at least one of us can continue his streak, and the others can build on that. We'll do all that right after this.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach, kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
The PGA Club Fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening for Chrysler's Make This the Summer Sales event?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie or Tradesman. For work or for play, you pick. If you need a heavy-duty Ram truck, Hoblet should be your first stop to find what you need at the best price.
Oh, you're going all out this month.
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from from Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
You won't find a bigger selection or better deals on the truck you want. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
12,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500s after 2,000 Hoblet Select inventory bonus cash. Laramie's include 9,500 dealer discount and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of qualifying First Responder Association. Tradesmen include 7,000 dealer discounts and 5,000 factory rebates. Rebates include 1,500 commercial bonus cash for current business owners with valid tax ID. At least 5 of each offer. Sample VIN 103767 and 221741. See dealer for details.
The weather is hot, and so are the deals this month at Premier Pools and Spas Sizzlin' Summer Sale. If you've been anguishing in the searing Sacramento sun, we're here to help with scorching savings on new pools and pool remodels. After 35 years as the region's top builder, Premier Pools and Spas has the hard-won knowledge and expertise you need to seize your summer. But act fast before these deals melt away on July 20th. It's the Sizzlin' Summer Sale, only at Premier Pools and Spas. CSLB number 589234.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right. I have a question. Who is hot? Other than
Angel
us
Reese.
today because of the weather. Sorry, go ahead, Angel Reese.
Angel Reese is hot. In the Chicago Sky 78-69 win over the Atlanta Dream yesterday, Reese had 11 points and 13 rebounds to continue her WNBA record streak of 14 double-doubles in a row.
Are we buying the streak? I'm hearing now, again, granted, asterisk, I'm not watching every minute of every game, but there's rumblings that this streak is, there's been a couple of, seconds winding down, get her the ball, let her get the extra points. Do we go against streaks when something like that happens, when stats are padded, or does that just happen in all sports?
Nope. You sound like one of those people that say that they shouldn't have put Sabonis back in for his double-double streak.
But he's one of our guys, so it's okay.
It's okay when it's one of our guys.
Yeah, he's my guy.
When it's somebody else, no.
Yeah.
No, can't do that. I'm all for it. Who's not hot other than our chat?
Nick Pivetta of the Boston Red Sox.
Who?
Nick Pivetta.
Oh, of the Boston Red Sox?
Of the Boston Red Sox. In yesterday's loss to the A's 5-2. The Red Sox Pivetta went 6 2/3 innings with 10 strikeouts. Sounds pretty good. He gave up 6 hits and 4 earned runs for the loss. That is the second time he has thrown 8 or more strikeouts in a game and lost this season. For comparison, pitchers to throw 8 or more strikeouts in a game and get the loss has only happened 3 other times in the history of Major League Baseball.
Wow. Jeez. That's pretty good. Or bad. Or indifferent. Or baseball. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Let's go streaking, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing?
We're streaking!
Or are we?
Or are we?
Yeah. Dave is at 3. I'm at 0. Chris is at 1. Chris is at 1. So let's see how we did. All eyes on Carmichael Dave with his streak of 3. Dave, you went with Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles.
That's his name?
Henderson. Yes,
I believe it's pronounced Gunnar.
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 Got up 5 times. And Gunnar got 1 hit.
Gunnar
That's a streak
Henderson.
of 4.
He's the man we love. Gunnar Henderson. We stand him.
So Dave is at 4. I was at 0, trying to get to 1. And all rise, I took Aaron Judge. Boy, the Yankees didn't give him any hits. They got 4 plate appearances for Mr. Judge, and he got a hit. I'm at 1.
Of course he did. You know why he got a hit? Because he wasn't. I didn't pick him. That's why.
Yes. So Dave's at 4. I'm at 1. Chris was at 1, trying to get to 2. He took Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. He got up 4 times, and he did not get a hit.
Wow.
Whoa. Terrible call, Chris.
That's going to start making fun of me, huh?
Yeah. I didn't like that call. Not a very good call.
Not a very good call.
So Dave 4, me 1, Chris 0.
Yeah, okay. So I got to pick a guy here, right?
Here's a guy.
Here's a guy. Oh, I'm staying away from the Dodgers Phillies today. But then I want to pick an Oriole again, but they're facing the Cubs pitchers. Got a 2.95 ERA. So let me go to the Yankees.
Yankees.
Who's your favorite team? The Yankees. Oh, give me Anthony Volpe.
Anthony Volpe for Carmichael Dave.
Tony V. Yeah.
I, too, am going to pick from the New York Yankees for the second straight day. I'm going to take Juan Soto. Chris? Let me see. Jaron Duran?
Gee, let me think. Sure.
Jaron Duran. Okay.
Jaron Duran. The reflex.
Yes.
What do you want to talk to? What are you excited most to talk to our guy, Mark Deeks, about when he comes on, Jason?
See if he had seen Trading Places about, what was it, Clarence Beeks?
Clarence Beeks. Oh, see my beak. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We'll talk to Clarence. We're gonna talk to Mark. We'll talk to him about what the HE double hockey stick, sorry to swear, is going on with Sasha Vezenkov. Later on in the program, we'll go back over that Kings Summer League roster that was announced and what to look for there, plus what to watch, celebrity birthdays, and so much more. As the chat is just completely out of control, man. It's just completely out of control. I do want to say this, by the way. I watched the first half and then I fell asleep, but it was nap time. It wasn't because of the show of Receivers. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Your thoughts?
Really enjoyable. They followed George Kittle and Deebo Samuel amongst others, and that was super entertaining. I actually, if I take the Niners hat off, my one of my favorite players in the whole league is
our first year.
First year. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And they really spent a lot of time with him on, his dad was a 2-time Mr. Universe. His brother, Equanimeous St. Brown, plays in the NFL as well, how they were pushed as kids. But I thought the coolest thing was they're sitting around at dinner, and all of a sudden Amon-Ra St. Brown is speaking to his mother in fluent German. His mother is German, made them learn a German vocabulary word every day. And these guys are sitting there ordering food in fluent German. It's always cool, I think, when you learn something that you never knew about a player like that.
Right.
So I'm only halfway through the first episode, but so far so good. So I recommend it, Jason Ross.
Nice. Okay.
We'll
I like it.
When we come back, Mark Deeks, NBA scout, writer, and more. We'll talk to him about Sasha Vezenkov and a lot of other stuff, too, right after this.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Deebo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
The Open Championship celebrates its 152nd anniversary this month at Royal Troon in Scotland. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. The game's top players assemble for a chance at the coveted Claret Jug. The Open Championship is about tradition, excellence, and class. And you'll find similar qualities at Naturewood Home Furnishings as they assemble the finest furniture and brand choices for your selection. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. This weekend during Naturewood's bedroom sale, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you Open Championship updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey, Sacktown sports fans, get ready for an unforgettable summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar, packed with the hottest shows around. Starting at Thunder Valley Resort, don't miss the epic Slash and Serpent Tour on July 12th. Then on July 20th, enjoy the incredible Miranda Lambert live in concert. And on August 9th, Jason Mraz and the Super Band are set to deliver an unforgettable performance. And don't miss this Live Nation lineup. On August 4th, experience the legendary Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. Then on August 15th, catch the iconic Donny Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And on August 22nd, don't miss Creed Fisher rocking the stage at Ace of Spades. Finally, on September 10th, the Doobie Brothers bring their timeless hits to the Toyota Amphitheater. For all your ticketing information, head over to livenation.com. These are the shows you won't want to miss, so grab your tickets now. And stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, welcome back. Final hour of the program. Our thanks to Kelly Brothers and Anthony Slater for joining us. The very controversial Anthony Slater, by the way. My goodness gracious. Still to come, we got a lot to talk about, but right now, really appreciate this gentleman, I say, coming on. Mark Deeks is a basketball scout and writer. His Twitter bio, which, by the way, follow him at Mark Deeks. That's DEEKS NBA. His bio, I always love reading the bios. It says basketball scout writer, occasionally insightful, always boring, covers all leagues despite the name. If you play pro, I've scouted you. If you play pro, I have scouted you. So, Mark, we'll start with this. What's your scouting report on Drew Timme, who is on our summer league team? Well, welcome in. How are you? First off,
I'm well and good. Thank you for the lead in of letting the listeners know that I will be boring. That's what every good radio broadcast wants to hear. I think it's a bit of that subtlety in the older English self-degradation coming through. The accent is not fake, gentlemen. This really is what I sound like.
Okay, hold up. Mark Deeks has an accent. This is fantastic. Mark, where are you? Where do you hail from originally?
A part of England just outside London that no one's ever heard of.
Okay, but I won't completely derail this because my partners are already rolling their eyes. But I took on a side job working for Huddersfield Town. I'm on my way out there in about a week, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So, big soccer guy here. We just got relegated, but now all of a sudden, I mean, you're in the yes. I have come to know over the last year that there is a stereotype about English sports fans where they can be incredibly snarky and a little negative at times. And I found that, some stereotypes can be true. And I love every minute of it, man.
They really can. And the English mentality with regards to pretty much everything, but including sports, is we are terrible, but everyone else is worse. That's our mentality. That's how we deal with the loss of an empire that we still haven't quite got over. We will tell you that everything about our country is broken and flawed and warped and corrupt, but at least we're not France. That's what it comes down to, ultimately.
But is it one of those things, Mark, where you can poke fun, but anyone else trying to do it, it's not allowed?
That's exactly what it is. You're dealing with what the aftermath of imperialism looks like. We're a bitter nation. Nice to be here.
Oh, this has become 10 times the interview I thought it would, and I thought it was going to be a good interview to start. So let me start with this. We're going to get to Vezenkov and all that. But as somebody who scouts, one thing and we were talking about Drew Timme earlier, but in a broader sense, along with Zach Edey, there is a long list of Zach Edey's and Drew Timme's and Tyler Hansbrough's and Luka Garza's, and we can go on and on and on. You just have to look at like the NCAA outstanding player in the Final Four, and most of them either translate to barely having an NBA career or not really having one at all. It fascinates me how often scouts actually get it right. And you see a guy putting up these insane numbers in college and it doesn't translate to the NBA. How big of a challenge is that to see a guy putting up numbers in D1 and going, yeah, but that's not going to work against Joel Embiid?
Try and bear in mind that whilst the NBA has 540 roster spots, it doesn't have the 540 of the world's best players. It has almost all of the top 300, but the bottom third, the half if you're generous, of the NBA is fairly interchangeable. Thus, it comes down massively to opportunity. I cannot, just to bring in Vezenkov briefly, he was the EuroLeague MVP. I reckon, this is anecdotal, half of the players in the EuroLeague have played in the NBA. Now, some went over there and had better careers. Anthony Randolph, a recent example, but certainly not the only one. That doesn't mean they could not have made it in the NBA. It means the opportunity to be on the fringes of the NBA or star in the EuroLeague, they took the latter. The money's right when you're that good. So when you talk about how can you assess a player's fabulous production at the NCAA level and how that won't make it in the NBA, in many cases it would if they were given the opportunity. There is a massive degree of luck involved. There's a massive degree of agency power involved. From a raw talent scouting point of view, a lot of what you're looking at is physicality. If you are not athletic enough, you never will be. Athleticism improves a bit in the NBA, but only a bit. These are grown men that are joining the league. It's the interface between what you can see with your eyes as to how they do what they do, the numbers that tell you the level and the intricacies of how they go about that, and also what you hear. Are they coachable? Do they listen? If they made a certain mistake constantly on defense, for example, was that of their own volition or was it taught? If they overhelped, was the coach teaching them that? When you put all those things together, you put together the eyes, numbers, and the intel, that's how you can make an assessment. And you're still often going to be wrong because it is hard.
Yeah, and I think if we go back to Sasha Vezenkov, who, Mark, as you know, came out here to Sacramento last year, a lot of Kings fans were excited. Kings have been seeking him out. He's EuroLeague MVP. And it's kind of to that point you made, opportunity, some luck, some fortune. He was injured, kind of in and out of the rotation, and it felt like an incomplete year, and now he's already gone and into Toronto. So I guess my thought on him is when he came to the Kings, what kind of year did you anticipate Sasha Vezenkov having?
He wasn't bad when he played. I would say that if you had given him extra minutes in more games, he would have produced much like he did, because I think he was a pretty good player. The circumstances were against him, like you said, injuries. There was a certain sense of entitlement on his part, not because he thought he was better than he was, but because he gave up stardom and the riches and the ludicrous passion of the Olympiacos fan base to come over to the NBA to see if he could. And so he didn't have to come over here and ride the bench, and he didn't want to come over here and ride the bench. Nonetheless, I will defend him as a player, absolutely. If you go back, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that Nemanja Bjelica's best seasons in the NBA came with you guys, came with Sacramento. You could have had the same with Vashenkov had it worked out, because he's that sort of player. Not identical, no two players are, but he is not just a shooter. He's a very, very skilled big man who can play center in spots. He has ability off the dribble. He's got a genius level of getting open. His basketball IQ is very high. He doesn't protect the rim, but he does move his feet on defense. He's a very smart role player. And it's a shame that that wasn't really tapped into here in Sacramento. And it's a shame that it ended in a de facto salary dump. But that can be the case. You have to deal with the person as much as you deal with the skill set.
So how does this all end, Mark, in Canada right now? How do you think this thing ends up finishing?
I think he takes a buyout from Toronto and goes back to Olympiacos, where they'd absolutely love to have him back, where the money will be comparable to what he's given up in the NBA. Toronto do value him as a player. They haven't just taken him on as a contract in that trade. They would probably like to get something out of him. But I don't think they will. I don't think he enjoyed his NBA experience. I don't think he's going to enjoy it, considering that the Toronto aren't going anywhere anytime soon. These are his prime athletic years. I imagine he goes back to where he played his best and had his best fun.
And if he does he just go back right to that level of EuroLeague type MVP?
I can see no reason why not, unless some injury really hampers him, about which I don't know. Then yes, he will plug right back into Olympiacos, who will, like I said, absolutely take him back tomorrow, and he will immediately become one of the best players on my fallen continent.
So Mark Deeks joining us, and you know, because Luka Doncic, and there's obviously, I mean, we know Vlade Divac so well, the late great Drazen Petrovic. You know, this isn't the first time we've had an international sensation. It didn't start with Luka. You have these players, and when you look, and it goes beyond that, obviously, Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, but when you're specifically talking about that league, we were talking about scouting again with Division I and with the NCAA. Also, what should we as fans look for to see a difference between, okay, this guy's the MVP over there, but probably a rotational player here, versus a unicorn like Luka that comes in and just completely takes over the league?
It's incredibly hard to answer that broadly. It comes down to specifics. So I'll use the example of Luka. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine, who I very much respect, was completely not seeing it with Luka. And the reason he didn't see it with Luka was because he scrutinized the clips that were available. At this point, this is the information age. You can get access to everything, so you have to choose wisely. My friend, who will remain nameless, heavily scrutinized clips of what he could see of Luka, and he thought he's never going to make it in the NBA because he doesn't have the foot speed. He will not get separation. However, because there's an absolute ton of footage of Luka at the highest levels outside of the NBA, with Slovenia, with Real Madrid, against premium NBA caliber defenders. Remember, half of the EuroLeague is played in the NBA. I can't prove that, but it sounds right. Then you know that he can get separation against these players, not on raw foot speed, but on the nous, the step back, the intricacy, the hesitations, the eye fakes. It's not a hypothetical as to whether he could get separation on these players. He already did. Defensively, yeah, okay, he never had the foot speed to be great. You don't want him to be great defensively, because that's a waste of his energy that you want him going forwards, where he can dissect defenses in a way that he already had. Broadly, I think the answer comes back to what I said before about you measuring someone's athletic prowess, because the NBA, I will defend the EuroLeague and all European leagues, of course I will, but there is no dispute that the best athletes play in the NBA, because if there are good athletes in the European game, the NBA gobbles them up. no dispute. But if you can tell whether someone will be an NBA caliber athlete, fine. You can tell whether they'll be an NBA caliber person, that's also fine. But if you take things out of context, as my very close personal friend that I feel bad for naming and shaming here did with Luka, then you'll miss the context that will show you or convince you how they will translate to the NBA game.
Is there anyone on the horizon like a Luka that we should be keeping our eyes on?
I would love to say yes. You've had the greatest prospects in a generation, and I'm including Luka, come over in Victor. There's no one quite that earth-changing on the horizon in the next 2 to 3 years, but there will be. This is the international game now. Look at the very top. We're talking Luka, Giannis, Victor, Jokic, of course, who somehow I managed to not mention. The game's very best are coming from all around the globe, and particularly from Europe. That's not going away. That's how it is now. The USA has the majority of the world's top 1,000 players, but it no longer has a monopoly over that.
You didn't name, you just shamed, and I respect that, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but did your friend's name rhyme with Schlade Vivats? I'm just curious.
I have never spoken to anyone with a name that rhymes with Schlade Vivats. I wish not to shame. It obviously, let's say, didn't work out with Marvin Bagley, but that's not who I was referring to. No. Yeah, I feel bad bringing the Luka thing up now to a Sacramento audience. Sorry about that.
Oh, we're over it.
You know what?
No, we're not.
We're over it. Yeah, exactly. We're over it, except it's an open, gaping wound that will last forever. But other than that, Mark, we're fine.
It's a bit like the fall of the empire over here. I know what you mean.
Hey, look, I hope this isn't the last time we talk. As I always say, when you have a British accent, the IQ points go up about 50. Everything you say, it just sounds right. It just sounds right, whether it's in sports analysis or fantasy movies where someone's playing a wizard. It always helps. I guess my last question would be for you. Blood sausage, really? Like, is why? I don't get it.
Don't scrutinize what it sounds like. I'll give you another one, haggis. It sounds horrific. If you read the ingredients on that thing, oh boy, it's not good. So blank it out. Willful ignorance is the way forward, and try it. It's all right. It sounds like it shouldn't be, but it is. We don't have what you would call a refined palate over here. It's another stereotype that is based in fact. I'm obviously biased towards it, largely through nostalgia, but do try the blood sausage, do try the haggis, and you might be surprised or you might be horrified. Risk it.
Somebody told me what they said that blood sausage haggis, that's the European version of hot dogs over here. Like, you don't want to know what's in a hot dog, but it just tastes good.
Yep, absolutely. Hot dogs, it's worth paying a bit extra. We might get some actual meat in there, but just go in blinds and cover your eyes and deny everything. That's my advice.
Mark Deeks,
good advice.
Is a scout, a writer, and a phenomenal interview. Follow him at Mark Deeks. That's DEEKS NBA. Mark, appreciate your time. Have a safe time over there. Have a fun time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, take care. That's Mark Deeks. That was fantastic. I did not see that. I didn't see it coming.
That's perfect.
That's the best. When you start, hey, welcome in, Mark Deeks. What's going on? I don't know, pip, pip, cheerio. What? Let's go. I've tried the blood sausage. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Now maybe
try
it
again.
was called maybe it was called like caramel sausage. That doesn't work either. But something other than blood sausage, it would have been a little easier. Plus those dumb baked beans with breakfast. Get out of here. We'll take a break. When we come back, our thanks to Mark. King Summer League. That roster was announced. We'll go over it and what we're looking forward to. And also at some point between now and the end of the show, I personally would like to know if there's anybody out there, if I ever get into a legal issue, that can really bail me out and give me some sound advice. I'm hoping we can figure that out. Maybe, Jason, you can get on that sometime between now. You got me? Okay. Yeah. We'll take a quick 30-second break. We're right back after this.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Well, Dave asked for it, so here you go. You've probably seen many of those lawyers on TV with that 800 number, claim to be local, and you call the number, and you certainly don't get to the person that's the face on TV. It's a big company, and they've got just a process, and they shuffle through client after client, case by case, just turn and burn. Well, that's not the way it works, or shouldn't work, as far as if it's a situation that you're in, that you want some help, you want to feel like you have someone that's dedicated to you, someone that you can talk to, someone that you know that's got the experience, and someone that you know that is local. Well, I've got it for you. I'm going to tell you about the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at SACLegalDefense.com. The number is 916-304-9187. Again, right here in our community. He's one of us. He's been in Sacramento for a long, long time. As I said yesterday, just had his third child here, brand new daughter, Chloe. He's a guy that's on the river all the time, and he's in our community, but he's also here to fight for you, go to bat for you if you're in a situation where you need some help. And what might that be? Well, maybe there was an auto accident you're in. Maybe it's an expungement, something you want to get off your record that was happened years and years and years ago that you've just been following you around and it's keeping you from doing some things that you'd like to do. Well, there's a case for you like that. Also, wrongful termination. Those happen all the time. He's here to go to bat for you again. So check it out if you need this kind of help. SACLegalDefense.com. Jonathan Gonzalez, that's the law offices there, or call him at 916-304-9187.
Carmichael Dave.
He's got very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
All right, couple things to clean up here before we get to Summer League. Couple hours ago, Devin Carter, fresh off of shoulder surgery, tweeted a pic of him in a hospital bed with a big wrap around his shoulder. And Jason, I don't know, have you seen the tweet from Devin?
Let me look at it.
I'll read it to you. Okay. Devin Carter at King Carter 2225 says, light the beam, and then a purple heart. So I think the meds are or that doesn't look like an acronym to me.
I see
an acronym or acronym. CNCSJNCFH dash light the beam and a heart. That sounds to me like someone who's feeling really good right now.
Good for him.
And really, yeah. Good for him. He then followed up and said, Sack, thank you for believing in me. I'll be back soon and can't wait to show you all this dog that you have. So love that. Love him. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news if you haven't heard, but I found this out during the break. Shelley Duvall, olive oil. She was, I forget what, Wendy in The Shining, which I believe is the scariest movie of all time, and many, many other things. She has passed away at 75 years old. That news broke just about an hour ago. She was incredibly unique, and her look, her acting, the whole thing. I don't think they always say this, and of course, if Shelley Duvall hadn't played Wendy, for example, then somebody else would have, and we'd say the same thing. But I can't imagine anyone playing Wendy. I can't imagine anyone in that bathroom when Jack Nicholson ad-libbed the "Here's Johnny" line. I can't imagine anyone playing Wendy other than Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, Chris had mentioned that to me earlier off air, and he's like, "You know anything she was in?" I said, The Shining and Popeye. That was it. And I was starting to look up. I don't know much of her other work, but those two are pretty iconic roles, that's for sure.
I was just going to say, totally iconic roles. Also, a lot of conversation with our last guest. No, it will not be the last time we talk to Mark. That's got to be a regular, because that's just, again, it brings the IQ of the show up. But a lot of people talking about the food in England and the Indian food in England. Yes, they are known for having a phenomenal Indian food. I feel like it's very similar to Mexican food in the United States, but I could be wrong. I've not tried yet the Indian food in England, and it's not because I don't like Indian food. It's that I don't eat Indian food when I'm not close to my house. It is a guilty pleasure for me, but it's just the way my body reacts. I could eat 10 samosas with mint chutney in a row without a problem. Chicken tikka masala, give it to me all day long. Don't isolate that. Here's the problem. I have a reaction. So I don't want to have any of those reactions if I'm not in the good old US of A near my house. One thing they have in England too, guys, by the way, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before that I fell in love with, and can we get more of this here? Are baked potato stands. It's like $5 for a baked potato, and then there's like all kinds of fillings, including like you can have it filled with like a curry, but also like a regular old like sour cream chive type of thing. I've seen them filled with like hamburger meat, and it's almost like the insides of a shepherd's pie. Why do we not have baked potato stands? Or
I've
even
never
like
seen that.
And when you
You've
say
never-
stands, is it like a food cart or what? Like on the street corner?
Yeah, all up. Like we usually stay in Leeds, but I saw them.
Might be a regional thing.
No, because I saw them in Manchester when we were there too, when we were downtown, and I saw them in London. They were
Maybe it's a newer thing.
Yeah, they basically have these food carts, and you know how you'll have ones that specialize in elote or cotton candy or whatever. Their whole thing is potatoes.
Cotton candy potato. Give it to me.
Gross. I'm here for, you know what? I'm here for baked potatoes, and I'm here for an entire legion of baked potato flavors. Like they had a nacho, like it had nacho cheese and carnitas and a bunch of other stuff. They have like 20 different varieties, and it makes me think, would a baked potato cart and or perhaps a baked potato specialized restaurant work here?
What would be your go-to on there?
Honestly, I've had 3 so far. I have one every time I go. And the one that I really liked, speaking of having intestinal issues, was it was filled with chili, peas, and sour cream with some green onions on top. And it was just, I don't know what it is about chili and a baked potato, dude, but it worked. It worked, bro.
Yeah, it sounds good. Nothing wrong with that.
Also, can we please talk? I know we got to get to Summer League. Can we spend 2 minutes on soccer so Russell will shut up? And it's not entirely his fault. We were going to talk about it earlier. Chris, they fired Greg Berhalter, the coach
Thank God.
of the United States. Okay, so, and everyone's like that. Like, hey, thank God. I get it. But let's say, I don't know whether it's Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or whoever you want to talk about. Like, let's say Pep comes in, right? And he's the new coach. Are we now all of a sudden going to be World Cup? Are we going to get out of the into the knockout stage now? Is it the coach?
I think with Pep, and they're not getting Pep Guardiola, but if they had someone like that, they are getting out of the knockout stage. It kind of felt like Berhalter is a complete system manager, which is good when you have a club and you're with these players every day. But I mean, these international teams are all-star teams, basically. They're like the Olympic teams. It's something that you have to find out what you're best at and then field the best team. And it felt like he was putting a lot of people it felt like he just put a stranglehold on the team of just like, do not mess up ever. And we're really screwed if we mess up, which happened constantly.
So I'm not, look, you know far more about this than I do. I'm just from a casual standpoint.
Well, I'll say this too. I mean, like the problems that we're seeing now are the same problems that they had in Qatar with the World Cup. And these are problems that they had when they didn't qualify for the World Cup previously. This isn't something new. And it feels like U.S. soccer is just trying to put Band-Aids on something when in reality, they have to completely rethink how they structure this team. And I don't know if they have the appetite to do that or want to do that.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like Bob Bradley sucked, and then Jurgen Klinsmann sucked, and then Bruce Arena sucked, and they were the issue, and then Greg Berhalter sucks, and he actually won at a higher clip than all those guys. So I'm not saying it's any one thing. Obviously, it's a combination of things. I guess I'm just saying, are we just shuffling the chairs on the Titanic here?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Facts.
Yeah.
And like, it's tough to break into U.S. soccer because, as we've talked about before, and it's not just soccer, it's baseball too. It's other sports of you have to pay to get higher in the sport. And some people, and this isn't really that new, don't have the type of money to put their kids in situations where they've got trainers or they've got coaches that are helping them, that they're doing these travel leagues, because you're a parent, you know how expensive this is. Like, not every parent can do that. So are we losing what could be our best soccer players just because they never get the chance to play?
Yeah, as a dad whose kid plays soccer, he plays high school soccer. And he started playing varsity last year, but that's also because it's not as cool as it sounds. I mean, it's cool, but like also it's not a huge, they're not beating down the doors to play soccer. You know what I'm saying? And the coach highly encourages his players to play travel ball. And in Mason's case, his priority is basketball, and that's where we put our time and money. But he played a little travel soccer in junior high, and, we're going up to Carson City and all over the place. It is an insane commitment, and it's not just the money if you're privileged enough to be able to pay that. It's the time, it's the driving, it's the hotel rooms, it's everything involved, to a point where you're just like, dude, it's just not worth it. And if that's something, as you say, that is prevalent throughout the United States, I get it, because from what I understand, you take a lot of these other countries, people would call these poor countries, and I'm using air quotes, where you got these kids playing on the street with one soccer ball amongst all of them, and then they're discovered, and then they're put into these schools and put into these camps. From a standpoint that I've learned recently with Huddersfield Town, they're out there trying to identify these kids at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old and throwing them in their academy. And obviously there's academies that are way bigger than the one they have over there. And I go, that's how it should be done. Whereas over here, you've got to be, Braxton Braley Jackson III to be sitting there. No offense to Jackson, by the way, to be doing this. And that just seems ass backwards to me. And that's my thought.
That's where we are.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then, I'll add to this too. I don't think MLS helps at all, because they are there. They are not there to grow the sport. They're there to make money. And I don't think that's helping. And when you look at the cost of the prices of Copa America tickets, it's insane, especially compared to tickets around the world. It's just it's hard to be a soccer fan in the United States, just because you're having to invest an insane amount of money into enjoying it.
I'll let during the break, I'll let Russell compose himself. Russell, this is why talking soccer is such a blast with Russell in the audience, because he just tornadoes himself into this. That's just wrong. That's just insanely wrong. What are you guys talking about? And then bitches the rest of the time that we don't talk soccer. So we'll take a break. When we come back, what to watch. We'll get on the summer league as well and talk about that. Also, this day in sports history, and hopefully Russell calms down. We'll do all that right after this.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store, and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The NBA app is everyone's app. Every fan of every team.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone who follows LeBron. Every warrior who's ready to go to battle over 3-point percentages. Every streetwear king who's here for the tunnel fits. Every young buck, nugget, and grizzly who wants to take a peek behind the scenes of the league. And everyone else on this floating basketball we call Earth. Download the NBA app today. Available in the Google Play, Apple app, and Android stores.
The weather is hot, and so are the deals this month at Premier Pools and Spa's Sizzling Summer Sale. If you've been anguishing in the searing Sacramento sun, we're here to help with scorching savings on new pools and pool remodels. After 35 years as the region's top builder, Premier Pools and Spas has the hard-won knowledge and expertise you need to seize your summer. But act fast before these deals melt away on July 20th. It's the Sizzling Summer Sale, only at Premier Pools and Spas. CSLB number 589234.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Legend says that golf courses are made up of 18 holes because it took exactly 18 shots to finish a fifth of scotch, a shot per hole. As it turns out, the 18-hole limit came to be somewhat accidentally. In truth, there was no standard number of holes on a course. In the beginning, it might have been 11, 23, 15, or 7. St. Andrews, for example, had 22 holes until 1764 when 4 were merged to make it an 18-hole course. The exact date when 18 holes became the standard is a bit sketchy, but according to the British Golf Museum, the R&A issued new rules for its members in 1858, and Rule 1 stated, 1 round of the links or 18 holes is reckoned a match unless otherwise stipulated. We can only presume that this was slowly adopted throughout Britain. By the 1870s, more courses had 18 holes, and a round of golf was being accepted as consisting of 18 holes. Maybe not as romantic as the story of the bottle of scotch, but the truth is always stranger than fiction. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
You don't want to miss the Kia of Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. This is your chance to drive home in a brand new Kia with leases starting as low as $169 per month, plus bonus cash. Whether you're eyeing the stylish Kia Soul, the versatile Kia Sportage, the luxurious Telluride, or the efficient Kia Forte, we've got the perfect model to fit your lifestyle and budget. Come into Kia of Vacaville today and experience our incredible selection of vehicles, outstanding customer service, and unbeatable deals. Kia of Vacaville's friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to help you find your dream car and to make the entire process seamless and enjoyable. Imagine cruising through this summer to Tahoe or the beach in a brand new spacious Kia, making memories with family and friends. Don't wait. These deals won't last long. Visit Kia of Vacaville today and turn your dream into reality. Make this summer one to remember with a new Kia from Kia of Vacaville. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Did you know about 1/3 of our lives is spent sleeping? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water reel.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
The text line at 916-339-1140. Folsom Mike says there's a huge burnout factor in soccer because it's so much so young. I think I spent 20 grand on 2 kids and both quit by high school. And
I think that's a lot of sports because you hear stories about that with softball a lot, baseball.
I think, and everybody's different. I obviously agree with, 20 grand on 2 kids that's ridiculous. And by the way, and Mike obviously made enough money to be able to do that. There's a ton of families that are like, yeah, we can't spend any, we're trying to eat, not do the rest of this. Now, when it comes to the burnout factor, though, I'm not indifferent to that. But also, we also know that there, in fact, the thing I was watching with Amon-Ra St. Brown last night, I was talking about on that receiver show. Yeah, you're going to have kids burn out, but also the world is littered with insane athletes that are plucked up at 8, 9, 10 years old, are thrown in these schools, and you don't just see it in soccer, tennis. I mean, there's a whole academy / school. What is it, Nick Bonacani in Florida, that has that school for young tennis players. You see that in travel ball, AAU, stuff like that. So I'm not saying burnout isn't a factor. I'm saying I think that's less of a factor than the cost, because if you're good and you're into it and you excel, a lot of times these kids are going to continue doing it and they're going to go pro. Or get
and all this has changed over the years, right? Where there's more. I mean, it used to be, hey, I'm going to play maybe some youth leagues and then try to get to a high school level and maybe play on a high school team. Well, I mean, beyond that, there's club and touring and travel. And yeah, that whole thing has changed a lot over the years. And that's where the finances come in.
Speaking of people bitching about our lack of talking about soccer, William Lamas in the chat wants us to talk about the fight in the Uruguay game. Uruguay. Where it's always a scary situation, Malice in the Palace, where you have players going into the stands. But from what I understand, Chris, you guys may know more than me. It was one of the players saw his wife and kid being kind of.
It's definitely a gray area.
Okay.
Well, there's also a video coming over before that happened of Nunez grabbing a chair and like throwing it at the wall, like where the fans were by. And this is before everything started going crazy. So that kind of got into it. Everything about it was bad. There was no security around like the families, which is pretty crazy. It looked like it was starting to get broken up. And then that's when he got into it and started fighting with fans. So I would say it's not a good look on anybody.
Who's it the worst look on?
I would say the players that went into the stands.
Not security. I've heard a lot of people yelling about security.
I mean, if you look at the match in Germany, how much security they have there, it's insane. Like you see, like when I went to Mexico, the security there is incredible. It's just like tons of people there. And that is not a thing in the United States.
I was going to say that, and then we'll move on here. Can you help me out with this? Look, no sport's perfect. There are full Twitter accounts dedicated to baseball brawls and, we see fights in football stands all the time. I'm not trying to say it doesn't happen, although we don't see a lot of that in the NBA anyways. What is it about soccer where, and I've explained this before, just knowing that over in England and other countries, but England, for example, away fans have their own section of the stadium. They have a separate entrance. They have a separate concourse with separate concessions. They are all segregated.
Separate bars outside of the stadium.
That's right, because otherwise they just go, they get pissed drunk and then just beat the hell out of each other while watching the match or before or after. Why? What the hell? Is it a cultural thing? What is it? Our fans are just as passionate here about certain things, but over there it's like goes back to 1548 and my great grandfather battled yours and we want the land and God knows what the hell is it where they just want to beat the hell out of each other?
That's literally it. You have like religions that part of it. You've got Liverpool and Manchester is a huge rivalry because a canal was dug, which took Liverpool out of shipping Manchester's items. Like you hear these stories like, wait, what? That's how it started? And like this is stuff that's been going on for like hundreds of years, that it's not really that the soccer makes them fight. It's they want to fight and soccer is an excuse to fight.
Scooney says the sport is so boring they just want something to do. That's not funny. Oh, free agency and NBA move. Right. They outscore. Let's come here. Let me punch you in the face. Yeah, free agency.
We'll say, like, I haven't had any of those problems going over to England, or I went to Croatia. That was kind of like iffy, but like I never felt unsafe.
No, and I would say the same and knock on wood, and I don't want to see that. But you hear, last year we had a Leeds fan come back from a game at Huddersfield, and somebody slashed him in the neck, and and I don't know who that was, by the way. They never really found out. You've got bottles being broken over heads. That happened as well. It's just like, I don't know. At some point, don't you just evolve and go, guys, it's not like you're going to beat the other fans so much that like you won. Okay. All the oppression's over and you won. Like you won and you made a difference. Like at some point you'd think they just go, okay, let's just watch the match.
Yeah. But this helped my frustration. Me punching you. That helped.
A's Red Sox happened. Oh, this is yesterday, isn't it? Because I got Logan Webb on the bump. On this day in sports history, I was Ron Burgundying that. Bo Jackson homered and won the All-Star Game MVP in Anaheim. And in 2012, Steve Nash traded by the Suns to the Lakers, making that super team. And man, the titles, they just flowed. We'll take a break.
Yeah, I was looking at that trade real fast, Dave. There was like 4 future draft picks, and 3 of them were nothing, but one of them ended up being Mikal Bridges.
God, that's right. Don't I remember something? Wasn't he originally drafted by Philadelphia, where he was like born and raised, or he had a family member work for the Sixers? There's something there.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, he ended up being pretty decent. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll crosstalk with Styles and Watkins and wrap up the show next.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Well, you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of STP full synthetic oil with an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee. I love you just the way Kelsey Hart and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 special live.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Catch some Aggie football this fall and save money while doing it. Grab one of our all-new mini plans and save up to 40% off single-game tickets. With our can't-miss home slate of games this season, you can pick 82 games for just $60 or any 3 games for $75. Pick the games that fit your schedule and come support the Aggies on their quest for a Big Sky championship. Mini plans can be purchased by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Ags!
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
And now,
here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Yeah. Yes. Thank goodness.
See the beard? See the beard coming? You're in the wilderness now. Now you got a beard. I love it.
Wow. Yeah. Things change up here, Alan. I hunt my own food. We live off the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're mountain people is what we are up here.
The Revenant.
Come back. Very much so, except the bear doesn't stand a chance.
And you're better looking.
Far better looking. Much like how Nate looks like Mark Wahlberg.
Enough with that.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you, gentlemen?
Good. I'm raring to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hyped.
What about what?
Drew Timmy. Summer League.
Dave's Club.
Team USA. It's what a time to be alive.
Yeah. Drew Timmy. You really hyped about that?
That 3 yesterday was clutch. Keon Ellis.
Clutch in a loss?
The comeback was great. Keon Ellis balled out. I'm just hyped, man.
What about our guy Drew Carter or Devin Carter tweeting out a questionable tweet? Not a questionable tweet, but did you see the tweet of him in the hospital bed?
I did.
Yes.
What was that? What was he saying?
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was a Fryer thing.
That's what I thought too, but yeah, it's got to be one of those if you know, you know, because I tried to make.
Oh, you actually don't get. I think the joke is that he was like, a little woozy after surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to it. I don't think it's a secret message or anything.
All right. I've never asked you guys before. Are you Niner, Raider fans, or other?
I know Chris.
We know.
Wow,
Chris.
you don't know what Chris's team is?
You know what I
10-2 every day, Dave.
Yeah. We're fully loaded. We have a little bit of everything. We got Nate as the Niners, and you know me. There's only one nation. The Raiders.
Well, you'll love our chat.
They love me.
Why don't we? Anybody in your chat that's annoying? Maybe we could propose a trade.
What is your issue? You said they were booger eaters. Just leave them be.
Yeah, they're burfs, booger eating Raider fans. Look, I have a lot of friends that are Raider fans. Don't get me wrong. Well, in fact, my best friend's a Raider fan. But it's
Alan's your Alan's your best friend.
You beat me. Well done.
No, I'm just saying. Every fan base has different types of fans, but as a whole, the 3 lowest IQ'd fan bases in American sports are Cowboy, Laker, and Raider fans, and that's a fact. It's been written about. It's a scientific fact. My issue is just the lack of, like, one of our guys in here is trying to his big arrow he keeps tossing at me is that how much the Niners lose in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, dude, your team hasn't been relevant since Mike Bibby hit that shot against the Lakers, and you're coming at me about losing in a Super Bowl when the Chiefs just peed all over your home turf, which has never seen a Raider playoff game, and won a title. Like, you'd think there'd be a little humility, but there isn't. It's just wear the Schmedium Russell jersey, put your middle fingers in the air, and scream Raiders. And it's like
that's not how you do
like
it.
My dog likes to eat turds, and you look at the dog and you go, "What are you doing?" But in the end, you love the dog, and that's kind of how I feel about those Raider fans. Like, you're a turd eater, but part of me respects the fact that you're so just oblivious to reality that you actually think that losing in a Super Bowl is a terrible thing.
I just think that, but there's people like that in every fan base, Dave. I think you're poking the bear, and you're isolating a certain fan base. Don't get me started, and that's why we love having Nate, because he's our Niner guy. Because we get into it on the show when it comes to Niners, because I come at the Niner fans too. So you know what, Dave? One of these crosstalks, let's take the gloves off. Let's go into a street corner and get it done.
What does that mean? Are we gonna put on boxing gloves?
Bare knuckle, Raiders, Niners. All right, we're gonna settle this like men. You're in the wilderness. I'm in the wilderness.
But here's the other thing too, is that as a Niner fan, like, I'm also very aware of like how we haven't won a title since Steve Young, and wine and cheese and bandwagoning and blah blah blah, and the stereotypes about how the black hole Raider Nation is like the most dangerous place in sports, where there's like more fights per capita at Levi's Stadium, like at Levi's Stadium, which by the way is like a hospital with how it's just what's that word called where everything's clean and
sanitized,
too clean. It's just not a great. I don't like this. Like, why is there none of that self-awareness? Like, I can 100% be self-aware about Raider of being a Niner fan. But I'm happy to do that. Anyways, all right. Celebrity birthdays.
Happy birthday,
Raider.
Joey.
Speaking of,
say Joey Bosa.
Joey. 34. 34.
No, 29.
Yeah, I'll say 30.
31.
Correct answer, Carmichael Dave. 29. Let's go with former receiver Andre Johnson.
I loved Andre Johnson, man.
Yeah.
38.
37.
I'll say 40.
41.
43. Christopher Lott is closest. And former NBA point guard, underrated, I think, Rod Strickland.
I agree with you. Very underrated. Rod's 58.
57.
He's 60 on the nose.
59.
Carmichael Dave is right. 58. Correct answer.
Dang.
Did you say dang?
I sure did.
Watch your mouth. All right. More potty mouthing coming up. Guys, real quick. I know we got to go. What's coming up?
Yep, we're getting into Keon Ellis balling out and whether or not he should be the starting 2 on your Sacramento Kings.
All right, that and more. Fastest growing show in all the world. Our thanks to Mark Deeks from the UK, also Anthony Slater, Kelly Brothers, Jason, Chris, and everybody else, even our Raider fan family. We'll take a long break here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Stay tuned right here on Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?